Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Deck Sim live stream today. It's the 4th of December 2022, 10 minutes past 5 in the evening here in the United Kingdom. We're back in Microsoft Flight Simulator in the PMDG 737. Please tell me straight away, I've got a brand new microphone and headset for this stream. So if it's too loud, too quiet, let me know. I think it could be too loud potentially. So I can easily turn it down. I've got all new settings and things like that. So it sounds pretty okay. Thanks, Listerman, for the feedback there. We are in Palma De Mallorca. This is the Just Like Scenery. You are in FSRealistic mode. I think it's defaulted to some dodgy camera. There we are. Jim is currently in the cafe, waiting for myself to bring the coffees before we walk to our aircraft, our Alpaca Airways 737, and we're going to be flying to Lamezia in Italy for the first time. This is the brand new ORBX scenery, latest release from them that they've sent over as well. And FSRealistic have also very kindly given me a key for anyone watching the stream today. So after we've landed in Lamezia, I'll be doing a giveaway for FSRealistic. For those of you who don't know what it is, it just adds a bit more immersion to the simulator, such as a brand new avatar mode. You're looking at Jim's backside. Well, he's currently got stuck in this chair there, but it's quite a neat little feature. I did a video recently looking at this as well, so we can walk around and see what's what when we walk to our aircraft today. It's going to be good fun. Flight time about 1 hour 30 minutes. Nice strong wind today. It's going to be great fun. It's been ages since I've done a stream at the weekend as well. Who have we got here in chat? John C. Jim Means Business always has the headset at the ready. I know he's also been promoted to captain, as you can see with his epaulets there. Ho Chum says good evening from Hong Kong. Hope you're doing well. Very good evening to you, sir. It's going to be realistic, captain. Let us know. We'll see B9 Bolt 1. Sounds perfect. Thank P-Test. Yeah, this is the Arctis Pro headset, so it's like a much better quality headset than the Arctis 5, but it's given me this little cool game deck thing, so it allows me to control the volumes, without having to do it on the computer directly, which is pretty cool. Beluga on PC, hope you're doing well. John C, Yankee Fox, Spike Flies UK, Calco's here, listed. I've seen Kevsky, I hope you're doing well, and D Aviation Taylor, L, Brandon M, Edward H, Alan Jensen, and just to name a few of the people here. Need some espresso. Well, let's start walking to the aircraft as well. I mean, I first thought it was a bit of a gimmick, but it was actually quite good fun to use. We'll keep the intro music playing here. So you sort of, I'm in the avatar mode now, so I've walked all the way from the aircraft. I could use the mouse to move around. You could even show you, look, he's got his arms spread out continuously though. It's a bit of a pain, but there you go. You can see that we've just gone to Inca Tea Cafe here in Palma de Mallorca, and if I start walking, you can hear the footprints. You know, if I just unfortunately, if I out tab out the game though, it sort of just goes down to floor level, but if I go back into the sim, it sort of goes back to where it should be. There we are. I think I need to make him a little bit taller, don't I? There we are. He's just had a growth spurt. Typical Spanish vending machine. Look, they've got a tortilla there. It's pretty authentic. Other well-branded crisps and chocolates are available. There we go. So I don't even know what terminal this is, but we'll walk on down the stairs. It looks like the escalator's not working. It's really cool, and I'm using the mouse to sort of control the height there, and we've gone down to the floor level, and you can see, look, well, no, Jim, we're not going into the kiddie play area. Let's now walk to our aircraft anyway. Maltware says he's short. Yeah, he is short though, but you can sort of see here, this music definitely suits the walking as well. Excellent, Jim. Let's go towards stand or gate B for E3. We'll check through security, check COVID conditions, +1 meters. Yes, watch your head, Jim. There you go, well done. Poof, through the door. And here we are. This is the Just Flight scenery, which I was installed quite a bit of time ago, but you see the radar spinning around there. Let's go over here. Or is he just Norita runner? Who's that? He's just a big kid. That's Jim for sure. Make sure you keep to the walkways there, Jim, as well. There we are. Latest updated PMDG 737 is installed as well, which I didn't have on the latest live stream I did. Hello, Pad Pilot, even Captain. Why are you following the first officer, not the other way around? I know. Oh my God, Jim is massive. I've made him too tall. There we are. Hello. I hope you're doing well, lady. Yes, I agree. Let's continue walking towards the aircraft. But yeah, it's really cool, and you can just have a bit of fun. If you look at my latest video tutorial as well, I did a walk around tutorial featuring the FSRealistic avatar mode, which is pretty cool. She can't hear you, no, she couldn't. But anyway, there's Rodrigo, who's doing the pre-ground checks as well, and there's Pablo as well, who seems to have the coolest sunglasses I've ever seen. There we are, and we're live on VATSIM. Look, you can already see a whirling over there, Euro wings. Very, very cool. Let's walk up the air stairs, which seem to have merged into the ground. There we go. Oh, need to move the mouse wheel quicker. Poof, straight like that, into the cockpit. Oh, look. Super realistic, no issues whatsoever. Right, let me just disable the avatar mode, because unfortunately I've assigned it to the same button, which brings up my PDFs as well. So let me do that here. There we go. Where is avatar mode? I cannot find it. I think it's called first person. There we are, first person. I've just disabled that there in the background. Cool. So yeah, let's get on with the flight. Nothing to see here, like a club. Yeah, pro streamer for sure. There's no events on today. This was actually planned, this stream, on Friday. I published it in the morning, but then I was called off standby about 10 minutes after I published it, so I just made it unlisted and then just published it today. So there we are. Prashnu, are there any good freeware add-ons for 737 Microsoft Flight Simulator? Not that I know of. The best free one, of course, is the ZebraMod 737. I am wanting to try X-Plane 12 again soon, but the latest release candidate update, I think the lighting, I've heard, has gotten worse, and there's some FPS issues, but I do really want to jump back into that sim as soon as possible. Try out the latest update as well. There we are. It's a lot better if you do it in first person. The size immersion is amazing. Yes, I had it in sort of third person view there, but first person would have been perhaps a little better. Battery on, GPU's on the bus, electric hydraulic pumps are on, landing gear lever is down. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green lights. Then check all the aircraft documentation. Let's check the bottles. 3 green lights, 3 green lights, which is all good. Fault and fire. We've got fault AP detector and op, master caution, overheat detector. We can reset that. Over to fire, wheel well, fire warning lights, engine overheat, fire bell, and the fire warning light and the overheat lights on too. Emergency exit lights armed. We'll test the attend button on. Oh yeah, it does randomly cough as well, FSRealistic, which is what you just heard there. I think Jim might have a little bit of COVID. We'll just make sure he gets plenty of cough medicine. What was I going to do? Yes, I was going to show you the operational flight plan. So here that is. So weather's really nice in Lamezia and Palma and en route. So you know what? There's no events or anything. Let's just take standard fuel, the minimum block fuel for this sector. Lamezia, it's scattered cloud, 0706 knots. QNH is 1018. That's over at our destination. Clear skies, and I forgot to mention I'm streaming 6 hours behind live time as well. 6 hours behind live time, so we can enjoy the daylight scenery today. So based off that, you can see on the flight plan I need 7,672 kilos. That's 7.8. It just happens to be 4 wings on the 737 without any fuel in the centre tank. So I'll do the quick fuel today. So fuel 7,800 kilos. Seatbelt signs are already on. And payload will take 170 passengers. That's going to give us a zero fuel weight of 56.9. So quite heavy. Well, I'd say not quite heavy. We've got a full load of passengers, almost 170 passengers there. So that's all loaded. We'll go over to the FMC, and we've tested the attend button here as well. We'll check the takeoff config warning horn sounds. That's all looking good. Flaps are up, which matches the indicated position. Trim is set. And let's do the cargo fire test. Forward aft, discharge, fire warning, bell and light. We're squawking 2000 and standby. Rudder and on trim is 3 and 0. Gear extension door is closed. Check the circuit breakers this side. Onto the overhead panel here. We'll check the Mach airspeed warning test. Mach flight recorders, stall warning test. A little bit longer. We need AC power for IRS to nav, alignment for about 7 or 8 minutes at this latitude. We've got a line, and circuit breakers in this side. Check the PBE, the crash axis installed. Oh, the mouse goes a bit wonky in this view, and the circuit breakers by side too. There we go. Let's have a look here in chat. Oh, look at that! I didn't. It's complete fluke there. I have relaunched my Teespring store. I don't push the merch, it's just a bit of fun. I've uploaded loads of new products, most of the Alpaca Airway themed products, but 15% off everything for the rest of the year, guys, just the launch one, because it is excruciatingly expensive. I don't set the prices. The base prices are so high. I put them as low as possible. But if you are interested, feel free to have a look. FSRealistic's in chat as well. Hello to you. If I mess up anything with your plugin, please let me know in chat. But it is running in the background. We avatar moded all our way here. Guys, if you have any questions about FSRealistic, the actual channel is in chat. The actual people who run the program is in chat here. So feel free to ask any questions as Jim continues to cough in the corner there. Is it the left-hand picture of the thumbnail, the NGX from FSX? The left-hand pic of the thumbnail. I'm not sure what you mean there. Is that on my channel? Not sure. Andy M71, they released an update today. FPS is much better, but lighting is still a bit pants. Yeah, well, that's the latest Explain update. Hello, Scott Morgan. Hello, Captain. Would it be possible to take a gander at your FSRealistic settings? Let me see if I can bring it up on screen for you. I'm actually using a profile. I can't get it to show up unless I make it a source, but essentially, when you have profiles in FSRealistic, you can actually go to a profile cloud and download one made by someone else. So I just downloaded a PMDG 737 profile by someone called Hacklier, which was the most downloaded one. It actually was pretty good. Tried it on a sector and I quite liked it. So we'll go from there. Listening coughing corner, unbelievable. The thumbnail of this Lime stream. Oh no, that was a screenshot from the game there, Pilot Boy. That's what I took. Right, we do actually have ATC here in Palma. We've got ATIS, so 11925, ground and town. I've got my mic all set up, my new mic, all on VATSIM, so we shouldn't have any problems. Let me try and grab the ATIS and turn up the volume in vPilot. Now, why can I not hear vPilot? Give me 2 seconds, guys. I know why. It's probably because the radio's not tuned here. Interesting, I don't seem to be getting any sound through on vPilot. It's definitely transmitting because the RX window's displaying. Let me have a look here on my audio. Speakers, game DAC, output device game. Yeah, that's the correct one. Let me just press apply. Now that's very strange. I cannot hear vPilot. It's coming up on my volume mixer. It's showing vPilot coming up and it's transmitting, but I can't hear anything here at all. That's really strange. It worked. It worked on my test sector. Check vPilot output. Yeah, the vPilot output is set to my volume mixer, my speakers game DAC game, and it is there. And what's very unusual is it's coming up on my volume mixer as well. It's just not coming through on the audio whatsoever. Might just turn it off and on again. Well, there's weird Xbox notifications coming on. I wish I could disable that somehow. Yeah, this is interesting. Game DAC game. I'll just show you this here. Let me just turn my stream settings on here. Is the output on your headphones? Yeah, it's on the headphones, as is the game. It's on the same output as Microsoft Flight Simulator. Let me just I'll just turn vPilot off and on again, just in case. Alright there, Jim. Let me just disconnect and reconnect again, just in case it's vPilot. While she's staring down on the floor. Right, connect. Yeah, it's weird. Right, are you hearing the beep? So, right, that it's open and it's saying it's playing the ATIS still, but I can't get it through on voice. It was working an hour ago and I've not changed anything. Reselect the output on your vPilot settings. Output. Audio output. It's set to the same output on as my speakers. First time on VATSIM. I've got about 800 hours on VATSIM. I'm VATSIM Pro. Hello, Magnus. Safe flight, Captain. Thank you very much. Output volume, maybe? Game DAC game. I'm definitely on... Oh, I am on VATSIM, John Rayfield. I can see that basically... let me show you here, guys. If I just share my screen, as opposed to the stream itself. Give me 2 seconds. Share screen. And the thing was, it was working earlier. It was working earlier. Display capture, that's what I want. Add source, display capture, automatic, done. Right, there you go. There's all my settings, which I think you should be able to see. I've got the settings open. Output device, speakers game DAC game, speakers game DAC game. And look, can you see the green? Look, you can see the audio coming through on VPilot here. But it's just not working. The volume in plane, I just checked that. But if there's anything... yeah, hold on. Probably something stupid I've done. Let me just turn that off so you can't see what I'm doing in the background. 11925. 11925 is active. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Flight X and bingo, anyone? Stop! Yeah, but 80's voice is working, Daniel B. But I can see it's coming through on the game, you know, on the volume mixer. So it's definitely playing something in the background. Let me just try a voice channel in case it is something weird. Oh, shush. Tower. Let's try ground. 1217. Yeah, the radio knob is supposed to be lit. That's a PMDG-ism. Right, I'm over to ground now. Let's just do a radio check. Palma ground, Alpaca 4, Foxtrot Sierra for a radio check. Yeah, he's talking, so I can't hear him. He's talking right now because it's saying RX. How weird. Is that VPilot volume in the mixer actually showing your own voice rather than ATC? No, it's definitely... So when let me just bring it back for you guys so you can see what's going on. So you can see here, there's RX, that's someone transmitting on ATIS on voice. And you can see, look, VPilot, the audio going up and down. So look, you can tell someone's transmitting. It's definitely streaming software, no, because I play it through desktop audio. I've done that, Daffy. Started VPilot again. It's just not coming through on desktop audio, but all my audio for VATSIM I put through the desktop. Output device, it's correct. Audio, output device. You can see, look, game DAC game. Game DAC game. Speakers. That's the one I use. Speakers game DAC game. But yeah, it's definitely it could be a PMDG thing, but I've never had this issue before. I don't know, guys. This is completely flummoxed me. I've never seen this before. The VPilot volume on Windows shouldn't be showing when your voice is active. Is that actually when my voice is going active though? Let me just bring it all up again. I'm sorry about this, guys. I might have to go offline. So, you see I'm talking here. That's my mic volume. You can see there's no voice coming in through at all. And on VPilot when I'm talking. Okay, let me... I don't want to change this because this will mess around with all the Streamlabs settings. Check that desktop audio is active. Loudspeaker icon, bottom right desktop. Yeah, desktop audio is active. Voice to game. Let me have a look at that. Could be that. Let me go back to the ATIS, 11925. Yeah, it's only doing my headset, it's not changing anything there. So you can see, look, RX is when someone is transmitting on VATSIM. The green arrow isn't, this green arrow here is not me talking. This is someone else talking on VATSIM. Oh, well, it's the ATIS. See, if I don't talk, see how the green arrow is going on there? So the voice ATIS is working. It's just not working on here. But guys, I tried this 30 minutes ago and it was working absolutely fine. I can transmit, Because if I hold my transmit, look at the TX button here. There you go, so I'm transmitting on ATIS. Let me just reset one more time, otherwise we'll go offline, guys. So let's just keep the show on the road here. Oh, always technical problems, isn't there? Can't get a break. Change VPilot output device to something else and then back. Okay. I'll keep it all running. Windows. Ah! Oh, what have I done? How do I turn it off? Okay, that might have fixed it. Now I can't control it. Okay, I think I might have fixed it. But I can't control the volume. Oh, this is annoying. Right, so you guys can't hear it. I can. Right, I don't know what's going on. For some reason, if I put it through game, I can't hear it, even though the volume mix is set to game. Hold on, let me just show you my screen. But if I put it to chat, apply. Guys, can you hear that? No, you can't hear that. That's not playing through desktop. But I can hear that now. Oh, this is yeah, you guys can't hear this. I can hear it. It's very loud. And if I go here, there you go. Look, it's in here. It's in. But how do I get this? I don't want it in chat. I want this in game. But if I put it to game DAC, press apply. If I go over here to game DAC, it doesn't work in this one. That is really annoying. But the problem is I can't. It'll be really difficult for me to control the volume if I can't select it in game DAC game. Look, it's just not working in this channel. But this is where I have everything set, unless I move it all to chat, which I don't have time to do. I would say try every output setting. Let me just try one more time, guys. Game. Okay. Let me close this down. Disconnect. Close. Yes, it's a nightmare. That's right. Let me just reconnect. But you can see there's definitely something not right. Radio is turned on the plane, Andrew. That's why you heard it deafen everyone. Yeah, it's receiving, but it's just not coming through on game DAC. It's very annoying. I want to fix it. Run VPilot as administrator. Is that going to make a difference? I'll try. VPilot, run as administrator. I'll try it. I have a Razer headset and I have to set the ears to game and mic to chat. Ah, okay, I am Phil. That's interesting. So you have to set the ears to game and the mic to chat. Interesting. Yeah, it's just not working in game, in the game mode, guys. So it's here, it's playing, you can't hear it. If I change it to chat, I can. You guys can't hear it because I have my Streamlabs audio. So if I change this to chat, where is it? Audio. If I set this to chat, apply. Oh no. I can hear this, but you guys can't. The reason you can't hear it is because my Streamlabs desktop audio comes through game. So I can hear the ATIS, you guys cannot hear it. Yeah, guys, just because I need to have a play with the settings and I just want to keep the show on the road, I think I'm just going to have to go offline. Because otherwise I'm going to have to switch everything over to the other settings, but for some reason it was working earlier. So I honestly don't know why it's not working anymore. So I'm just going to disconnect because we've been trying to fix this now for 15 minutes. Anyway, sorry about that. I've just... The fact that what gave it away there is someone said in chat they had to put... No, I don't think it's... No, guys, this is an issue with my PC or computer or anything like that. I think this is a vPilot issue. vPilot, for some reason, with my new headset, can only play through... the chat audio, not the game audio, because someone said who had a Ryzen headset had the exact same issue. So you know, you guys are giving me great suggestions and ideas, but I'm pretty certain there's nothing I can do to fix that today. But we'll just go offline. Anyway, let's carry on with the settings here. I'll try it with Xpilot as well. That was a waste of time. Thanks for sticking with me and trying to get it fixed, though. We'll set the QNH 1011. We'll turn on traffic on Jim's and my ND. MFRA will set now, which is going to be 1020. There we go. 1010. And we'll now load up the FMC. Let me bring up the operational flight plan. I've just realised I've got desktop capture still on. There you go. You guys will be able to hopefully see a bit more stuff. Does the headset have our volume control? It does, Anon, but I think I know what the issue is. It could be the yeah, I think so, Domino Mosina. vPilot just sends the audio to selected output. It's the game DAC task to capture it and play it. So I think I need to play around with the game DAC settings. There's nothing else PC wise I think I can do. I'll get it sorted for next stream, but unfortunately it was something that I couldn't test beforehand. Right, update the position. We're in Palma De Mallorca, Lima Echo Papa Alpha. GPS left. Lima Echo Papa Alpha to where we're going. Bringing the operational flight plan up to Lima India Charlie Alpha. Call sign today is Alpaca 4 Foxtrot Sierra. Departure. It'll be from Palma, it'll be 24 right, and we are flying the Moors 3 Alpha. Moors 3 Alpha. Let's put the routing in. Quite a lot to type in today. Upper mic 633 to LSAG. Oops, not a good start. Upper mic 603. There we go. To LSAG. From LSAG, it's direct to Alpha Lima Golf. Alpha Lima Golf, direct to Abcon. Abcon, direct to Doras. Doras, direct to Sobri. So yeah, the reason there's a problem with that audio, guys, is because I do have a brand new headset, and this does have this really cool Steel Series headset, but it's got this kind of game DAC thing, so I can control the volume. So I should think it's an audio mix and match of something or other there. So there's nothing I'm going to change in my settings. All I'm going to do is break it. I need to have a play with this game DAC setting. The reason I thought it was all working is because before the stream, I think I had it set to chat, and I could hear the VATSIM voice. I was like, that's great. But what I didn't realise was it wasn't playing through Streamlabs audio. All my Streamlabs audio goes through Game DAC Game, whereas VATSIM for some reason won't let me do Game DAC Game through the chat, only Game DAC Chat. And I think you can only assign your audio to one thing in Streamlabs. Oh, Edo, thank you very much. He's bought a bath mat. Thank you very much, Edo. Appreciate that, buddy. Oh my goodness me, an Alpaca Airways bath mat. I can't wait until you send me a picture of that. That's the first one of those I've sold. No, I haven't sold one of those. Thanks a lot, buddy, for supporting the channel, and I'll speak to you in chat later, buddy. Thank you. Well, I can't believe it. A bath mat. VDM, we're going to do an RNAV approach straight in on runway 10 today, so, or a VOR, I'll let you guys decide later. We'll go... Where's RNAV? Wait, VDM. It doesn't come up VDM on our FMC. VDM Yankee, VDM Zulu, or VDM. What's VDM? Let me just have a little look at Navigraph here, guys. We have like RMP or VOR. It just says RMP or VOR. None of this. VDM 10. Let's go Oh, there we go. RNAV 10, hidden it. I knew it'd be there somewhere. So RNV 10. The star is. Let me grab the PDF. A BagX2 Romeo. BagX2 Romeo, and it's going to be via. Let's have a look at the chart. It's going to be straight in off the RMP. Upeti. Activate. Execute. We'll go over to the legs page. Just check for any discontinuities. So it's looking good on the ND so far. Legs. Plan. There's the Mors 3 Alpha. All joined up. Straight in on the RNAV. Superb. Right, that's activated. Zero fuel weight then. It's 56.9. The reserves for our sector to Lamezia. To divert to Napoli is going to be 3.3 tons. 3.3 tons. Cost index will use 30. Now we're cruising at 33,000 feet today, a little bit lower. And I think SimBrief has done a good job here, because if you look at the wind here, it's 264.83 knots. So I think it's just plonked us right in the jet stream, because if you look here on the fly plan, it does say if you fly 2,000 feet higher, you think higher is more optimal. But look, you're actually burning an extra 14 kilos of fuel and saving no time. So you actually want to stay at that lower level there. Is FSRealistic running? Oh, no, hold on. What happened to FSRealistic? It was. It's running now. There we go. I have no idea. I think I might have accidentally closed that when I was playing around with the settings, but it is now. Transition altitude here in Palma de Mallorca is 6,000 feet. So 6,000 feet set. Performance I've completed. Too far right, November 1. We can take 22k full. Takeoff flat 5. CG's coming in 6.1 units. JQB6, 3 months of member. ¿Qué? No entiendo. I don't understand. Buonasera. Ciao. Thank you very much. I think it's something Italian there for sure, but I don't know what he's saying. Trim set speeds 39, 39, 46 are in the FMC. Setting up here on the overhead panel as well. 146 knots. Right, onto the top here. Yaw dampers on. Nav transfer display switch is normal auto. Fuel. 1, 2, 3, 4. No fuel in the centre tank. So check the crossfeed. Bright. Dim. Bright. Off. Can you speak a bit of Italian? No. Commutating IVs on. Jim's still coughing there. We don't need the panel lighting on at this time of the day. Igniters to right. Window heat on. Probe heat's off. And the voice recorder's on. Auto. 33,000 feet. The elevation in Lamezia is 46 feet, so we can set that to 50. And we've got that set to steady. Let's crank up the old APU. APU, start. Flight directives we can pop on. It's a 5,000 feet stop altitude because we had to go offline. We'll leave that there. Order brake to RTO, reset. Fuel flow, imagine we have our ATC clearance. FMC pages are all set. Parking brake all set now as well. Chock's still in. There we are. And we do need to tune up the ADF for our SID. It's 401 we're flying over, which is the Porto Colom. Oh, Andy, thank you very much for supporting the channel as well. And thank you very much for your continued support too. That's an Alpaca Airways mug. Appreciate that, my friend. Thank you very much indeed. Now, guys, in celebration to launch the new merch store, I will be doing some merch giveaways as well. So don't always feel, want to buy them. I am going to do giveaways in the future. But thank you very much for supporting the channel. Basically, I do the giveaways based off, I use the income from the merch to do merch giveaways essentially. So it's been a while. Someone actually said, "When are you going to do some merch giveaways?" And then I thought, well, I need to do the whole store again. But thank you very much, to Andy, for your support. Appreciate it. Right, so we're all pretty much ready to go for departure. Let's have a little look at our routing today. So we are on stand over here. We've got these awesome new Navigraph charts. Just get rid of the overlay there. So we're going to push back to face east. to go onto the Victor taxiway. We're going to make a left turn onto Apron Romeo 7 and onto the Link taxiway, and then right turn, and then we'll depart via November 1. That's the SID there. Brandon, will Jack be making an appearance? I don't have Jack at the moment. Jack's with my ex-partner, and I will have him in the future, but he's all good and well. We swap every few weeks. Let's have a look here at the SID, which is the... Oh no, I own Lamezia already. It's the Moors 3 Alpha. Departing from Ponta San Juan, Palma, the VOR, we're going out until 7 miles, left turn, heading 209, and then a right turn to Pitux. So you can see here, look, 7 miles, 11 miles, left turn to Pitux. And from there, we'll also get to Pitux to Zural, and intercept the 059 to Porto Colom, which is Papa Tango Charlie November Bravo, and then all the way to Menorca, and then to Moors. So we've got there Zural, NDB, Mahon, Moors, and then carrying on with our route. So it's all coded 120. The only thing I'm going to put in the FMC is 220 knots to this initial turn towards Pitux, just for track keeping. So 220 or below, slash, and at Pitux. That is executed. Perfect. That's all done. We then complete the checks and go from there. Looks like the APU should be ready. So APU's on the bus. And Takeoff is there. Actually, no, we need to go into the settings, don't we? So, ground services, release the ground power, remove the chocks. We'll disconnect the air bridge. Pressing jetway, and we'll call for pushback pre-plan. And guys, sorry again for logging off the VATSIM network. That is just... I've got a brand new headset. The headset's great. I hope the mic quality is good. This is apparently one of the best boom mics you can get on a headset. I like to use the boom mics just so I can move my head around while streaming.
Cockpit to ground. This is ground. Stand by.
And it would seem VATSIM's audio settings, although I could hear it before the stream test, it all worked okay. It seems that Streamlabs how my audio works. I put it through all of it through desktop audio, and there's a bit of a mix match there. Andy wanted to add to my mug collection. Thanks a lot, buddy. I'm Phil. Wow, the new version of X-Plane 12 makes the lighting so bright, but still the Seabow mod is too dark. I've heard about it. I'm yet to try it, but yeah, I really want to fly the Fearless 742 and the Dash 8 again in X-Plane 12. Yet to fly both of them.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Perfect. Oh, it's a good job I checked the external view. The door is still open. Wouldn't be the first time.
We are cleared for start and push.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Oh, where are the doors in this PMDG thing? FS actions, doors. There we go. Close. Can we have a please release parking brake in chat?
Release parking brake.
I'm on it. Right, packs off. AP bleeds on, anti-collision lights on, parking brake. We can now release.
Release parking brake.
Released.
Parking brakes are released.
Transponder out
Commencing
off.
Pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
There we are.
It will start in the sequence.
Next to the marked doors. Thanks, Andy. Do you use FSRealistic to push and start? I don't think you can. Just for the sounds and the immersion. And the vibrations. Let me just open volume mixer up again.
Minimums, approaching minimums.
But I hope everything else is working audio-wise, like the alerts should be pinging up and all those lovely things, but FSRealistic's turned up. Cheers, 28 months. Matthew, at least you didn't leave the airstes extended from Llama International as SOP. That is true, that is true. Thanks, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for the continued support. Andrew, what does FSRealistic do? So it adds lots of immersion features such as vibrations, sound effects, the avatar feature. So if you look at the start of the stream, you can watch that, and also my latest video. A few other things too. But check out FSRealistic. And on their website, you'll get a bit more information about all the features as well. But you'll see when we do a landing, it's little vibrations and things, just subtle things. It just makes it increase the immersion a little bit better. I'll make it a little better. Would the PMDG pressurise with the door open? Well, I hope not. Alright, let's start these engines. Starting 2. Flight time about 1 hour 25 minutes, 1 hour 30. Head 2. oil pressure, add 1. Whilst we're starting the engine, as you are asking about FSRealistic, I'll show you the some of the settings you can have. There we go. So this is the first person setting I was using at the start of the stream, but I have a lot of the effects disabled here, or this profile does, and I've changed some of them myself, because the sim usually has it. So things like stick shaker, sneezing you can have, but gear, drag, G-forces, they're actually modelled by PMDG, so I've just left the other features like ground roll, landing applause, bit of fun there, drag, toilet flushes. You'll see when we get moving, add thrust and things like that. Yeah, anyway, this guy's going to get across with me.
Parking brake set. Parking brake set.
Perfect. Starting engine number 1.
Ground.
Hello, N2. Standard.
Okay, sir. Clear to disconnect. Pin has been removed. See you at the side. Have a good flight.
Perfect.
Holding
He's on his
position
way.
waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
I don't think he doesn't jump out like the one in X-Plane, does he? The better pushback in X-Plane. An anonymous individual has purchased an Alpaca Airways sticker. Thank you very much, guys. That's 3 merchandise items purchased today. Thank you very much for the support. I can't read the comments. I will play some of them back there. Oh, and someone else has bought a classic pullover hoodie as well. Thank you. It's been so long since any of the merch has been purchased. Thank you very much for supporting the channel, guys. I can't, again, read the comments that come up there. I will read those back once we get a non-critical phase. Oh, my goodness me, and a mug as well. Oh, thank you. Oh, dearie me, that's very kind. Very kind. That's really loud, that pig. I'll see if I can turn that down a little bit. And this is the first ever time we've used the proper Alpaca Airways liveried 737 as well. Is there a loud crying baby in the row behind you sound effect? Unfortunately not Domino Mosina. They need to add that though, because that is a common sound. Getting great FPS in Microsoft Flight Simulator now. It's very smooth on my sim. Right, starter cutouts. 2, 4, 6, 3, and 1 and 2 are stable. Let's do the before taxi flow. Generators on, APU off, start switches continuous, Pro Heat on, anti-ice off, air conditioning, PAX auto, isolation valve auto, APU bleed is off and set. Flight controls. Let's set the flaps to 5. Flight controls, let everyone. Full forwards, full back, left and right. Here comes the runners, full right and full left. We'll then blank the lower DU and push recall, and we then complete the before taxi checklist. Gene, VATSIM offline. We were on VATSIM. I was having audio issues. I've got a brand new headset and I need to set up VATSIM with the game DAC settings. Something I thought I'd done all properly before the stream. I heard VATSIM audio, but fortunately, because the way I have audio set up with Streamlabs, you guys couldn't hear it, and we were spending too long trying to fix it, and I just wanted to get the show on the road. Thanks for your patience, by the way, earlier in getting that sorted, and I'll make sure that's working next stream. Right, imagine we got our taxi clearance. I've been to Palma about 85 times, I think, or 86 times in real life. What we're going to do... Actually, I don't usually park around here in this corner. I'm going to go straight on here, left, apron R7, link, and right turn on North Taxiway. And this is the excellent Jeppesen Navigraph update for their charts. I mean, this is better than what we get in the real aircraft. I'd kill to have something like this. It's superb, really, really good. Right, let's release the parking brake, and that's done. We'll do a config check. Again, now you can see those little subtle vibrations there. I quite like that. That's FSRealistic injecting those little effects there, just to give you sort of the sensation of the engine's adding thrust, the little vibrations you get as well. When should we expect some snow destinations? Well, guys, to let you know, I am planning a stream on Tuesday and hopefully Wednesday early in the morning. I am very busy though. It's meant to be a little bit quieter at the moment with the winter schedule, but it's actually gone a little bit balmy. I'm out of base a couple of days this week as well, flying from a much larger airport. Hopefully, I'm hoping to fly the MAX again, because the airport in Palma base, they do have MAXes, and I have flown a MAX out of that base before, and that's on Thursday. I don't have any standbys this week at all. It's getting really busy in December. It's a great time to be an airline pilot, by the way. Recruitment is and opportunities are springing up everywhere, all over the world, which is great news. How's the audio, guys? Sim audio okay? Am I too quiet, too loud? I've got everything changed here. This is the first time of all my settings that I've changed here, so I'm very much relying on feedback from you in chat. Sebastian Lader, I've tried the latest X-Plane beta. I cannot go back to it. It still looks so static and performance is horrible. Yeah, I will try it, of course. But I know the PMDG cockpit lighting is completely broken at the moment. Yankee, any issues with your max annual hours? I remember you saying you were getting close to some kind of limit previously. Yeah, they can't fly me a huge amount more than until the end of the year. Well, November was quite quiet, so you know, I think I've got another 80 hours this year. I'm up to like 760 hours. I'll have done over 800 by the time the end of December comes, so I won't break it. But I'm doing a lot more flying. Could be interesting with the amount of hours I've got at the moment. I can't do the summer I've just done this year. This time last year I'd done 500 less hours. It's crazy how busy it's been. Right, clear right. And guys, I've been to Palma a lot, and this looks just like Palma. It's really, really good. And also, I have my my Tobii eye tracker in, which I need to set up. I bought myself lots of new gifts. Audio sounds good. Sim audio could maybe a touch louder. Thanks, Nick. I'll turn that up a tad. There we go. Clear left. Clear right. And we'll do the before takeoff checklist. So config we checked. Flaps we have. 5 green lights. Stab trim 6.1 units. Set. Takeoff briefing. Pax auto. Bleeds on. V-speed set for departure. 39, 46 on the MCP. The departure is the Mors 3 Alpha. Straight ahead 7 miles off the JVR for radial 236, which is backed up. Then a left turn to Zeram, then into the NDB, and then to Mors. We'll climb to 5,000 feet where I'll level off, hand fly for departure. NADP 2. We bug up at 1,500 feet in Palma. Don't ask me why. It's a unique NADP procedure here. And any problems will climb straight ahead to the MSA, which will go to 4,000 feet over the sea. So that's reviewed. Cabin, we'll imagine, is secure. That's it. Before takeoff checklist complete. And if you're ready in Palma by November 1, you can advise ATC. We can take the intersection, and so long as there's no one at the whole point here before you, they'll usually grant that. So we'll imagine we've got our takeoff clearance via November 1. Surface wind, well, I don't have my METAR app open, there's no ATC here, but it's very nice here. It's down the runway. No limits being approached. Right, so that's on. Auto throttle LNAV. Transponder to TARA. And we'll turn on the PMDG's broken weather radar. But it would be on at this stage. Anyway, MCP is set. Transponders TARA. Strobe lights are on. Landing lights are on. Cleared for takeoff. All or nothing with the brakes. Here we go. Tiger's in chat. Let's go to Lamezia. So there's about 40% stabilised. Set takeoff thrust. There's FSRealistic's vibrations going. That's cool. It does vibrate the CFM. There we are. Takeoff thrust set. Indications normal. Some sounds coming in too. Check. Release forward pressure. Not made hardly any rudder inputs. Me1 rotates. And we're airborne. I was a little bit quick on my rotation there. Gears coming up. And we're pretty much in trim. Trimming a little bit nose up there. No more than 20 degrees. Flight directors, if they pitch above 20, do not follow. The maximum altitude is 20 degrees. Oh yeah, I don't have flyby view. There we go. Superb. Now we'll bug up. Again, the flight director's still controlling quite a high attitude, even though I've bugged up. There we go. Flaps to on. They've definitely made the speed trim system a lot better. Only making the inputs it needs to now. Flaps up. Excellent. So I'll select vertical speeds. Auto throttle is going to start reducing thrust to maintain the speed. We'll accelerate to 220. And we'll set 1,000 feet per minute if we're approaching 5,000. Oops, I've accidentally turned the flight directors off. I'm trying to remember my view button to move around the head, but I can't remember. Vertical speed L nav. It's really cool. Vertical speed opened up at the actual vertical speed. That's correct. It's the real aircraft. There's the left turn. Yeah, I've got a little view button here, but it's not. Doesn't seem to be working. Oops, don't descend. Quite out of trim here. Still, it's much better, but I feel the trim could be a little bit more. In fact, I'm still trimming nose up here. Oops, that was a little sim update. The wind and 80s, I think. There we are in trim now. Well, imagine we've got a continuous climb now, so we'll set our cruise level 330. Set VNAV standard. Let's keep 220 for that initial turn still. Trim for 220 with a thrust. There we go, it's pretty much in trim. Remember, to get the autopilot in, you have to have no inputs on the control column. There we are, Command A. And we've got VNAV set after takeoff checklist. So, you can come off, taxi light off, gear off, auto brake to off, air conditioning pressurization. Diff is 3.0, climbing, auto on, temperatures are set, release the cabin crew, there we are, standard set, after takeoff checklist complete. Yeah guys, sorry I'm not on VATSIM, my fault, audio issues with my new headset, which needs to be set up properly. Hope the sim is okay, not too loud, and you can hear me clearly. Quite light today, and now we can accelerate to 250 knots. We can actually delete that speed restriction, and we'll go straight up to 290 knots now as we approach flight level 100. We are 299 knots, so we've got standard sets 3 times 101 for 330. Let's do the pre-cruise check. So fuel 4 pumps, and just over 7 tons on board, 7.1. Lights coming off, low go. Verify APUs off, pressurization 4.2 set. Okay, release passengers, recall. There we are. Pre-cruise checks complete. Tray table out. Oh wait, yes. No good. Andrew, are there any limitations with your operator on how long you're allowed to hand fly? There's not. Well, there is. Below, it's not so much a time; it's an altitude. So, but once we're above 24,500 feet, the autopilot needs to be in. But below that, there are sort of no restrictions, but there's sort of some limitations. It sort of says it's prohibited to fly in, busy TMAs. So we're not going to hand fly departing out of, London Gatwick on a Friday evening, or with thunderstorms, or any MEL item which would require additional workload to deal with there. Thanks for subscribing there, Carl Denton and Aviation Blase. Hope you're doing well. Strewed over skies, hi Captain. What do you mean by togas in chat? So when we take off, we push the toga button. It's a way of interacting with some of the members, having a bit of fun. Superb. There's Palma. I've never actually departed and turned left out of Palma from runway 24. We always go right, back northbound towards the UK. Then we just reset fly live as usual. It has gone kaput. You might hear a big Windows dong sound. That's me. There we go. Why not just start on ATC and turn left next time? That's going to involve paperwork. Hello Matthew, hope you're doing well. Little fun fact, the 4th pilot position, now 7.6 behind the CA, that sounds American, is referred to the window licker seat. It's the only thing you can do is the walk around. I love being the window licker. Oh my god. And yeah, so I was just thinking that on takeoff there. I asked while you were hand flying, so you might have missed the questions. Anything whilst I'm hand flying's missed there. Yeah, 100% there. But do the flight directors often command a pitch higher than 20 degrees on the real aircraft? Yes. Now, on that takeoff, based on this gross weight and the thrust setting we took, I was a bit surprised for it to be commanding as high an attitude as it did. But it is quite common on the real aircraft if you go for a high thrust setting whilst being at a lower gross weight, which might be required, say, on a performance limited runway that's, you know, field length limited, so quite a short runway in that respect. But it's not very common that we have to do that. But yeah, if you like full 26k and say the passengers are, 100 passengers on board, it'll happily command 20 degrees, up to 25, even more I've seen. One of the common errors people fall into during the type rating and on recurrent training to degrees, the wind shear escape maneuver. Because what happens is you have a reactive wind shear warning, which is when the aircraft is in actual wind shear. And what happens is you get the wind shear warning, you complete the drills, which is to disconnect the autopilot, you immediately push toga, fire all the thrust levers, disconnect the autothrottle. You simultaneously roll wings level and you pitch up initially to 15 degrees and then you follow the flight director guidance. Now that's great whilst you're in wind shear. The system will give you an attitude to target to ensure that you stay at the correct attitude. And wind shear is nasty, guys. You can have full power, you can set 15 degrees nose up, but you can still be descending because it's such a strong wind shear. But what happens is once you're clear of wind shear, the flight directors are trying to command this really low speed or whatever the speed window is saying. And because you've got such a high thrust setting, it can put the flight directors up to sort of 30-40 degrees attitude. And it's really important that you ignore that, or re-engage the automation and select something like level change and accelerate the aircraft. But you've got to know, it's really important for pilots to know some basic thrust and attitude settings for the aircraft. So what I usually say in wind shear when I was instructing, once you're clear of wind shear, check your flight directors, make sure you're not flying the commanded flight director after you're out of wind shear, because it could be very high, or if it's not, do follow them. But be careful once the altitude is extremely high. Now, it's very important to say this is after wind shear. During the wind shear, you must follow the flight directors. But afterwards, be prepared to look through them to set a sensible attitude and thrust setting there. Matthew, you don't have PLIs? Yeah, they will appear once you get in towards the minimum manoeuvre margin. So, obviously, if you set your attitude guys to your pitch limit indicators, or unofficially the eyebrows, that's the attitude at which stick shaker occurs, so you've got to make sure you never go above that. Yeah, Andrew, yeah, it's a PMDG-ism, the speed bug going up and down like that. It's been doing that for a while. Hi, Matteo Chewy, hope you're doing well, buddy. Now, whilst we're en route, let's see if I can perhaps... No, actually, you know what? I'll end up breaking the audio for the entire stream. This is my Steel Series audio deck. I'll bring up the webcam briefly. There you go. So you can see it here. So I can control my volume. So I can actually turn this down, turn the sound down from the stream, but it doesn't actually affect the volume for you guys. But it makes it a little bit easier for me to hear audio and VATSIM things now. But unfortunately, I've done something with the VATSIM audio settings, or I need to get that set up so the game audio comes through Streamlabs. I'm really liking this mixer though. Dimitri's here as well. Hope you're doing well. Metaxoid, Captain, a bit unrelated, but why does the 737 have multiple command engage buttons? There's nothing unrelated at all about that. You can ask any question about the 737 as you so wish. And the reason we've got two autopilots is for redundancy primarily. We only need one in normal flight, command A or B, but when we fly an autoland we actually engage both of them. I think that is primarily for redundancy. So if one fails, actually both in a fail passive autoland system like we have will disconnect both of them, but it will give you the aircraft in an interim condition, whereas a fail operational, if an autopilot fails during an autoland, you still can continue. I'm not so sure about operational systems, but it is essentially for redundancy. It doesn't matter which one you select, command A or B. You can see it'll switch now over to command B. There you go. But if you arm approach and then select the other autopilot, it'll engage both of them. Perfect. Andrew Terry, Captain, any advice on getting started with VATSIM? I have it all set up but got too nervous yesterday to actually use it. That's quite common, don't worry about that. There's VATSIM events called First Wings, keep a lookout for those. I think they do one a month. There's actually a very good YouTube channel called Aviation Pro. He's a flight sim enthusiast, but he's actually got some very good VATSIM or getting started on VATSIM videos. A little bit older now, but that's actually what I used when I wanted to try out VATSIM for the first time. VATSIM is incredibly good at replicating real-world procedures and things like that, but there are some differences. For example, how TOW and approach controller works on VATSIM and compared to, say, how it differs in real life. But yeah, it is worthwhile doing, and you'll get there. Don't worry about feeling nervous, that's completely normal. There's the Mahon VOR, Mallorca, the island of Mallorca. This is a superb utility now. On our way back to, after Mallorca, Mahon, we're going to go to Moors, over the Mediterranean, towards, I always, Sardinia, this island, and that's Corsica. I got that the wrong way around, I can never remember. Over Alghero, over the eastern Mediterranean, and there is Lamezia, on the foot of Italy. Straight in approach look. Boom, runway 10. And then we'll check out the brand new ORBX Lamezia scenery. Alex Vanderpass, Aviation Pro equals Dutch, so it's awesome. Of course you'd say that. Trevor, does Command A and Command B get route settings from the same FMC? Yes. Sean Boyle, if both autopilots fail above flight level 240, would you have to descend? No, but you'd be unable to fly in RVSM airspace. RVSM airspace requires an autopilot with at least the ability to maintain altitude. So you'd have to fly below, correct me if I'm wrong, 29,000 feet. RVSM's from 29 to 3 or 4, 5. So yeah, you'd have to descend at least to flight level 290, but you'd still complete the flight. That's an exception, obviously. Rishrab, the RT, your TX is similar to real world in VATSIM, and the RX and in VATSIM, how similar is it to real world? It's very realistic, the VATSIM network. I'm using the same RT as I do in real life, and the VATSIM controllers are responding and talking with the correct RT too. Hi Palma, hello Mahon. There's Mallorca Airport. Flown there on the stream on a few occasions. Also flown there a few times in real life. FPS, this is great now. Thank you, P60. Airplane's doors lock what's keeping you from just going to the airport at night and just walking onto a plane, besides the long imprisonment I'd face. Well, no, generally doors are not locked, but you please know that everyone who should have access to an aircraft should have a security airport ID or be allowed to be in the access of an airport. So you know, they have, yeah, they don't need locks. Maybe they do. It's there's some secret way I don't know about, but no, anyone technically could get out to it and open it. A very nice Lima India Papa Quebec Trieste Airport series available for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Oh, I didn't know that. Want to go checked? Oscar, are you familiar with MPL programs? What is your opinion about them? I'm starting one in January. I am unfamiliar, Oscar. I understand it's sort of an all-integrated flying course. You sort of skip out things like your GA flying, don't you, or private part, or you don't fly solo or something. But I have a member who's been through an MPL course. But I think, yeah, as long as you want to end up on a right-hand seat of an aircraft, you know, it's absolutely fine. FSC speed of VNAV path, there we are, 330. Remember, we're flying a little bit lower today because we're utilising this tailwind pushing us westbound. Eastbound. Get that correct. Captain, I thought you had the keys. Carl Denton, how do you rate the Thrustmaster yoke? I have the Airbus one. I'm thinking of buying the Boeing one. Here you go. Here is my Boeing yoke. Yeah, really like it. I don't think you're going to get a closer replica of a, you know, a yoke which is based off a pivot system fitted at the bottom of the floor. I have a video on this, one of my most popular videos. It still gets lots of views a day. But if you're interested in my review of that, type in Boeing yoke flight deck to sim review. The quadrant is okay. I feel the quality isn't as good as the yoke. The yoke is really good. The quadrant is okay. It is a bit plasticky, but you know, it works really well. The thrust mover and thrust movements and inputs. So if I look at this, disconnect the auto throttle here, you can see the inputs are very smooth, and I think something like I think it's like that. There's FSRealistic, so I love that. Look, when you add the thrust all of a sudden, you just get this really subtle vibration. It's actually quite nice to notice if there's a thrust change, and the CFMs do vibrate a lot. So yeah, they're okay. I think they do complement the yoke quite nicely. But I've heard the Bravo quadrant, isn't it, is very, very good. Yeah, there is no detented or dented flap lever, I guess you're trying to say. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a detent. Do the quadrants move like in the real thing? Yeah, sort of. I mean, it does feel the same. It's obviously there's a little bit more resistance in the real aircraft, but the same with the yoke too. But for what you get as a product in a desktop simulator, yeah, it's absolutely fine. The inputs, and when I add thrust and things, that are not too dissimilar. Yeah, I've heard good things about it, John C. And I've seen someone on Etsy's made like a 747 quadrant for it, and it looks really cool. There we go. I am half tempted to have a look at my settings here on Steel Series to see if I can get this working on VATSIM. Let's see if I can find anything on Google. Must include game deck. No, there's not much on it. What I'll end up doing is breaking the audio for the entire thing. Krista, okay, third time asking is the charm. Alright, I am sorry, I try my best to read all of them. I got the Thrustmaster yoke the other day. Do you have a video where you describe how you have it set up? I got the Honeycomb Brava instead. Sorry, Krista, I do try my best. I did miss all of those previous ones. My video review sort of, there isn't much really to set it up. All I would recommend is put all the springs in to give it as much resistance as possible. But just follow the setup that comes with it. There isn't a huge amount there. Or if you want to know about the settings in Microsoft Flight Simulator, I've just plugged it in. Microsoft Flight Simulator, I've just plugged it in. I think for X-Plane 12, all the settings have changed considerably. And I've played with the settings quite a bit. I just cannot get the correct input certainly until the Zebo flight model's been updated. But most of the, yeah, just plug and play. Working fine for me. I quite like it. Dimitri, not sure if it was discussed earlier, but a little bit in the grapevine told me I'm getting EFBs in the 900 from PMDG before Christmas. That's the first I've heard of that. EFB I know is coming soon, but I didn't know about the 900. But we'll try both for sure. I see. When do you know when to bug up? It's based off the noise abatement departure procedure. So for a noise 2, the most common one, we bug up at 1,000 feet AGL, top of the white bar on the altimeter here. And if it's an ATP 1, we bug up at 3,000 feet, so 3,000 feet AGL. I'm Phil, what do you do when you have a bleed trip off? Shall we do one? PMDG setup, aircraft, failures. It'll be under air systems, APU, all systems, no. Pneumatic programs. We could do a bleed over temperature, over pressure. Do a duct leak. Let's give ourselves a engine bleed over pressure on engine number 1. Oops, wrong button. Active, yes. Execute. So it'll probably take a while for it to... Oh, look at the duct pressure go up. See if it trips. Is it actually going to trip? Or is it just going to stay? I'd expect it to have tripped off by now. I don't know what the limit is. I don't think it's in the FCOM. It just seems to have massively increased, but without tripping. I thought that would have tripped it off. So any over temperature, over pressure will trip the bleed. Okay, we'll have to do it a different way. Yeah, that I'm pretty sure that would have tripped off by now. Let's deactivate that. Execute. There you go. Right, let's try an over temp. Engine 1, bleed over temp. Active, yes. Execute. There we go. So, master caution, air conditioning, bleed trip off, and you can see. Look at the left duct pressure. It is dropped to 0. So something has caused the bleed to trip off. So whenever we get a master caution, we always verify master caution, air conditioning, bleed trip off, and then we immediately reset it. The pilot monitoring would call for the respective checklist. So, or pilot flying would call for the respective checklist. It would say, right, Jim, I'd like the QRH for bleed trip off non-normal checklist. He'll take the radios. I'm getting my QRH out as we speak, right in front of me. Unfortunately, I can't show it to you, but let's do the bleed trip off checklist. Essentially, you get it to try and reset, and if you can't reset it, you continue the flight, and if you can, descend to a lower altitude, terrain, performance permitting. So bleed trip off, normal checklist. Jim has the radios. There we are. So the condition is, one of the following has occurred: the engine bleed has overheated or is overpressurized. So we don't know. You don't stare at this panel the whole flight. This has come on, and you can see, look, it's automatically tripped it off. So only the aircraft is being pressurized only via the right bleed system. So we don't know if it's an over temperature or over pressure, but that is what has happened. First thing, check the wing anti-ice switches off. The reason is that has a huge bleed air demand, and it will trip off the bleed if you're at cruise level. So that is off. We then push the trip reset switch button. Now, if you push this and the light extinguishes and you get left duct pressure, great, it's cooled down. But if I push it now, look, it's come straight back on again. So something is causing it to trip off. It's either overpressurizing, or in this case, as we well know, it's the temperature. Epic Edits, how long is the flight? An hour of 30. We've been airborne for about half an hour, so another hour to go. So the QRH then gives you options. In this case, it says choose one. The bleed trip off light stays illuminated, or the bleed trip off light extinguishes. So it's staying illuminated. It says pack switch On the affected side, you turn off. Now what this does, it causes the other pack on the other side to regulate a high flow in flight, as long as you've got the flaps up to ensure that you've got sufficient pressurization. It now says avoid icing conditions where wing anti-ice is needed because you don't have enough bleed demand. We only have bleed from one system. And there's an additional note that says when the aircraft is operating above 25,000 feet following a failure to reset a bleed trip, the pressurization panel will be monitored for correct indications during descent. You might need to add thrust to ensure there's sufficient pressurization, just to ensure that there's enough coming through the system to maintain pressurization. If the bleed cannot be reset and the aircraft is above 25,000 feet, consider descending to a lower altitude to reduce the load on the operating bleed if destination fuel requirements allow. So what we do, we've checked that one as well. At the moment it says 3.7. Let's see if we can descend to 25,000 feet. I won't do because we'll reset this. So 3.7 tons. If we go down to 25,000 feet, 3.7, we're going to burn an extra 200 kilos. So I'd say our alternate's 3.3. I would descend to a lower level to reduce bleed demand here. So that's what I'd do. And that's it. You then continue the checklist. It then says, well, that's the end of the checklist, essentially. You can keep trying to reset it. There's no limitation. So what I'll do, I'll just reconfigure this. This feels like a type rating session. We'll now turn off the failure. It is here. Oh, where is it here? FS Actions. No, it's PMD. It's such a pain to find stuff in PMDG's menu. I find it very not intuitive. Aircraft. There we are. Failures. Clear all. Execute. I hope it lets me. Yeah. So now, let's imagine that it overheated and it cooled down. If I push this button now, look, boop, it'll now reset. And you'll get your left deck pressure back. So that's what would happen if you push the reset button. It works. So then you continue normal operation. So there we are. That's what would happen if the bleed tripped off. That's fun doing that stuff. It feels like, and this is very beneficial for me. I've just done a non-normal checklist item. Great question. The Great Hackden said, if you could have a day as captain in the cockpit of any flying machine or orbital capable machine or even beyond, what would it be? Artemis 1. That would be quite cool to have a go on, though. Yeah, an Airbus. I'd genuinely like to have a go on an Airbus. Really would. Just 320. And then one of the big Boeings, perhaps. That would be quite cool. There's no trait up on the 737-600, no. Hello, Leo Aviation. Hi, I'm used to the 737. I get a warning called cabin altitude. I set the altitude, but the warning still goes off. Do you know how to fix it? I do, Leo Aviation. Thank you very much, Digby the dog, for the £5, buddy. Thank you.
Jack, between you and me, whoop 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 whoop.
Oh.
G-R-R-R-R. The FT2S. Do you concur?
Unbelievable. Thank you very much, Digby the dog, for your £5. I hope you're doing very well, and thank you very much for, you obviously you won that giveaway the other day, but because you couldn't take part, you very kindly gifted that to someone else. I appreciate that as a member. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your continued support as a member and your donation. Jack isn't here at the moment, but I'm sure if he was, he'd be responding to that straight away. Thank you indeed, sir. Brilliant. Oh dear. Thanks for subscribing there. Camille Georges, or Jorges, I hope you're doing well, sir. And too, the boss is clearly smitten with it, the bus. It's like a long distance relationship at this point. It sure is. Very long distance. Instead of long distance, let's say time related. I keep large periods of time between flying them. TSC, why not use the AP bleed as a second source? At this altitude, it doesn't have sufficient pressurization to maintain pressurization. On its own, as a single source, it's 17,000 or 18,000 feet as a limitation, so you just use remaining engine. The remaining engine bleed is capable of pressurizing the plane at any altitude. It just recommends you descend to 25,000 feet. However, as an MEL item on the ground, you cannot then dispatch and then fly above 25,000 feet. The MEL is always more restrictive. So once you're on the ground and you get this, after you take off, you cannot climb above 25,000 feet. lost trucker. Any chance to change aircraft types with your company to fly Airbus, for example? Or is that going to reveal too much? Sorry, it is. No comment. No comment. I might have to look elsewhere. Brilliant. So it's a bit of a pipe dream at the moment. And that's EasyJet invited me for a day. Perfect. So once you get here in the cruise, I've turned off a lot of the FSRealistic settings. So I'll just bring that up to you for a second so you can see it. There you go. Boop. So airframe ambience, and that's because, you know, a lot of add-ons include things here. Now I am using a preset profile here, so you can see, look, I've downloaded one. You can go to this cloud, and look, here's the most popular one here. Actually, there's the one from the 737NG driver. Maybe I should use his, but I just went for the best rated one. Hunting Big Fish. Even Captain Canada has one. So yeah, there's several that you can choose from, but I've just gone for the most popular one, and I've edited a few things. But you'll see on landing, and when we extend the flaps, there's some sort of nice little additional features added there. And I'll be giving away a copy of this after landing. Very kindly was given a key from the guys at FSRealistic for me to give away during this stream. You can try it out for yourselves. If you already would like to have a look at it now, head over to their website. You can actually get it on a 7-day free trial, I believe. So yeah, why not go and download the free 7-day free trial? Phoenix has changed his life. Lawrence, how's the industry looking at the moment? Would you say it's back to normal, wherever that is? Yes, certainly from a recruitment point of view. I can certainly tell you, at my operator, we are needing pilots, cabin crew, engineers, everything. And I think that's industry-wide at the moment. There's some very generous sign-on bonuses for a number of airlines in the Middle East. I would say it's these same airlines that also fired their pilots during COVID. They're now desperately trying to get them back. I do think they were a little bit mistreated, though. You've got to be very brave to go back out there, I think. Yeah, it's this summer has been the busiest summer I've ever had in, how long have I been here? It'll be 12 years nearly. And I think next year's going to be even busier, because you think this time last year we're still just only recovering from the pandemic. We just finished a summer where consumer confidence was very low. This year it's only beginning to pick up sort of around spring, summertime. By the end of the summer, it's back to normal. There's still a lot of people. I mean, who here, hands up in chat, has not flown or been on holiday since the pandemic, but now are thinking next year of going? Because now all the restrictions have gone, in Europe at least. I think there's going to be a lot of people that want to fly next year. We're already ramping up. You know, recruitment is busy. We've got lots of new pilots joining. People with out of flight training school, experienced crew, crew from other airlines. So yeah, come join me, come fly with me. It's going to be busy, and the thing is, because it's been so busy this summer, you know, they're going to have to be very careful with the amount of hours we fly. Well, when I say on holiday, jumped on an aircraft to go on holiday, let's say. JQB6. Approaching Orcum. We'll do a fuel check there. Airborne 34 minutes, probably around another hour to go. We are 5 hours. Precisely 6 hours behind live time. So it's 18:34 Zulu, 12:33 in the sim, 34. Well, look at that. We pushed Toga pretty much at midday sim time. Anyway, there is Orcum. Let's have a little fuel check. Orcum. We took no additional fuel today. We're looking for 5.4 tons on board. We have 5.4. We should have burnt 2.4 tons. Go here to used. We've burnt 2.3, 2.4. Or did we say 2.4? Yeah, look at that. Fuel burns where we expect it. Fuel on board's where we expect it. The airborne time as well. 35 minutes at Orcum. It says 33 minutes. And that's probably because we're messing around at 5,000 feet for a short while. Accurate flight plans. Hello, hey, for responding. Flying 80 hours a month at the moment at 2 to 3 aircraft base in the winter at the yellow and blue low cost. Summer's going to be mental. I think it's going to be that case at every airline. Heathrow spotting. Be it the Ryanair, I think you're trying to discuss there, and say EasyJet, but yeah, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a summer like no other. But I'll concur with you. This is the busiest winter I've had in years. I mean, well, it's always been quiet. Oop, what's up in there? I think that's the sim updating weather and whatnot. Still need to fix that issue. Dear. Neither sim has nailed the weather simulation. It's much better in Microsoft Flight Simulator than Launch, but they still have these sort of updates where just drop the speed and no altitude there. Trevor, how much money do I need to be trained to pilot? JQP6 correctly has answered too much. I don't know if is there any bonded type ratings out there or sponsored courses being starting up again. I wouldn't know. I'm very settled, very happy at where I work, so I've not really been looking at the market. There we go. Oh, yeah, I wish I was on that. I do wish I was on that, guys. See if I might get this fixed. Chris is a well-known Ukrainian YouTuber who comments a lot on the war. He is a 737 captain desperately looking for a job. Dennis, surely, you know, there's plenty of opportunities. For I know the exact channel you talk about. What is this? I've seen it before. You know, 747 operators like Ryanair. I'm sure Airbus would do a non-type rated course. I know Jet2, I think, are opening recruitment as well for even non-type rated pilots. That's it, Pilot Blog. Yeah, I've heard this, Kevin. I've heard in the US some of the sign-on bonuses are enough to cover the entire cost of training, but you'll need the $80,000 up front to cover all the training costs. Now, yeah, I flew with someone recently who told me one of the American airlines was offering a $100,000 sign-on bonus. But it is bonded, so you've got to stay there in for a set period of time. Very well said by Mark there. You have to pay to play. The initial cost is insignificant when compared to the career. Money should never stop anyone from doing anything that has the right burning desire to accomplish it. It's well said. It shouldn't be that you have to put up front that sort of money, though. I mean, I had to. I had to take a loan out, and there's no way I could convince my parents to fork out that sort of money. It does make it. I think it makes it more difficult for people who can't even get a sort of loan organised. It's a great shame.
50, 40, 30, 20.
Thank you
10.
very much, Trevor, for your £2 donation, sir. Really appreciate that. And Kevin for Streamlabs donate via PayPal. Thank you indeed. Appreciate that. There we are, over Alghero. Making good progress. So it's the southern island, which is, of course, no, I always forget these build up. Sardinia at the bottom, Corsica on the top, isn't it? Oh, Alghero. We've flown out of Alghero, haven't we? There we are. Sardinia. Nearly halfway. Andrew, do you think force feedback in the flight yokes are missing in the industry? Do the real yokes have power steering, or do you feel the plane movement earn it? No, you don't need force feedback. Not in a yoke, anyway. Not in a 737 yoke. There's no force feedback like in a light aircraft. If you go out of trim, it has artificial forces. So you know, so we've got an elevator field computer, and that'll basically, if you go out of trim, it'll add the force of it being out of trim, so you have to push on against the flight control. but I don't think you need it. You know, I personally don't see the need for it. Kevin, hard part is you need to take out a huge loan, and then you start out making hardly anything until you get to 1,500 hours. In America, Kevin, obviously in Europe, you're very fortunate not to have to get 1,500 hours. You can get you can go into a right-hand seat of a commercial jet straight out of flight training school. I mean, I did. I had less than 300 hours when I started flying the 737. Edo says, Virgilio Andrea ad Alghero in compagnia di uno straniero. I can't sing, let alone in Italian. Look at this beautiful weather though, over Sardinia. Very nice. Tom says air crash. Oh, firstly, Maltese, no real time, 6 hours behind live time today. Tom, air crash investigation question. Saw recently an episode about a 7.2 which had slats extended at cruise level to gain speed. How is that possible? Wouldn't this result in more drag? Yeah, I would have thought so. Unless there's some unique feature on the 727. Now, the 737, we have an auto slat system, but they only extend when you're approaching your stall speed. If you have flaps 1 through to 5, your leading edge flaps are in the... There's 2 leading edge positions. Let me just have a look at the flap. Oops, I think I've just extended the speed brake accidentally. There we go. Stupid flight sim. Let me get here. So we've got 2 positions for the leading edge. You've got extended and fully extended. Now, if you're through flaps 1 to 5, the leading edge flaps are in the extended position. If you go through 10 to 40, or 15 to 40, they'll move to the full extend position. Now, the auto-slat system, basically, it pushes the leading edge flaps to the full extend position when your flaps are through 1 till 5 or 1 to 10. And that just improves... It just increases... Well, decreases the chances of a stall, increases the size of the wing by forcing the leading edge forward. But that is a safety system. The auto slat system. Nothing to do with increasing speed or anything like that. Chris, Panos, thoughts on the 1,500 hour rule in the US? Now, that came about because of an accident. Wasn't there a low crewed pilot on there? I don't think it's needed. I mean, don't put me wrong here. I was right hand seat with 300 hours. I didn't put myself down as some superb flying expert. You know, you continuously... I'm still learning to this day. I mean, I've got nearly 6,000 hours now on the 737. But I don't think it's required. Pilots come in all shapes and sizes and levels of ability and experience. And generally speaking, the more hours you have, the more experience you get. But it is, and I'll tell you this now, no sign of ability. Now, I'm not saying that guys with lots of hours are getting lazy or have degraded skills, but just from my time as an instructor doing recurrency sim training, I trained pilots who joined the airline as well on type rated courses who had 15, 20, 25,000 hours on commercial jets, and some of them couldn't fly the 737 at all. Some of them really struggled because not only are they unfamiliar with the 737, but just some of those basic skills and abilities, sometimes it's easy to start from scratch. Now, again, I'm not saying that's everyone. I just think some of the most, I wouldn't say difficult students I had, the ones that struggled the most were some of the most experienced. So hours, you talk about hours about experience and ability, but don't forget a lot of the hours are sat as we are here, out sipping on a coffee. I think that the 1,500 hour requirement is not needed. Well, I think you can look at Europe and see. I don't think there's been any serious incidents involved. Let's say an inexperienced crew. You're flying. Don't forget when there's 2 of you, or is already flying with someone who has at least 3,000 hours, or at least 4 or 5 years sat on the right seat. So yeah, I don't think it's needed. Yeah, the Colgan Air 3407 pilots both had over 1,500 hours. Yeah, there was something. I know the US have this 1500 hours, but I know there's also been talk about it being scrapped, isn't there? And I know some people are really not a fan of that. But I don't personally think it's needed. And I'm not saying that because I wasn't one of those. I was one of those pilots that had less than 1500 hours when I started. I just don't think it's needed. Bobby Craig, just getting to Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, just picked up the Blackbird 310R. Any freeware or payware aircraft that are so good they are must-buys? Well, freeware-wise, you've got the, not Phoenix, sorry, the fly-by-wire A320, which is sort of like the Zibo modern X-Pen 11, but for Microsoft Flight Sim. I've heard that's very good. Payware-wise, the PMDG 737 is excellent, very good rendition of the 73. The Phoenix A320 as well. What else is in my virtual library? The Just Flight 146 is great fun. The Leonardo MD-80, which I've not flown in ages. I've only flown it twice on stream. That's great fun too. Yeah, there's some good aircraft there. Unfortunately, no one in Congress wants to be the one to advocate for reducing the hour requirement. I understand their point of view. Yankee, do you think there's anything about operating the Max that's needed to unlearn something from the NG? Wondered if there's anything that you'd have to consciously think about not getting mixed up. They're so similar, Yankee. There isn't anything that has to be forgotten from the NG. That's why it's been designed. That's why it's been designed as a common aircraft, so just jump straight into the other. I have flown the Max. I actually loved it. More than I thought I would as well. The engines are awesome. So quiet. Such a smooth ride for the passengers. Fuel burn is noticeably less. I mean, noticeably. You're burning 15-16% less. Awesome plane. But there's nothing really different between the two. Is the MD-11 good in Microsoft Flight Sim? Is that the MD-11 that's just come out? They're charging an extortionate amount for, and it's actually... Shall I use the word pony? I've heard it's a bit... Will Edwards, you never stop learning in aviation. That is too true. And welcome back as a member, sir. Hope you're doing well. Chris, over here in the US, the airline's hiring pretty much anybody with a heartbeat in 1500 hours. It's evident at my flight school that almost every CFI is trying to cram in as many flights as possible. I find in America, yeah, every instructor, that's because that's the best way to get to your 1500 hours. It's all they want to do is get that hour requirement and just go straight onto the right-hand seat. Andrew, with only 300 hours, how long before you start actually controlling the plane? No delay, straight off, type rating, boom, there you go, pilot flying. My operator and most air operators, you have obviously the captain in charge and the first officer assisting the captain is the official role, but that is not how it works day to day. You have pilot flying, pilot monitoring, and as pilot flying, doesn't matter if you're the captain, first officer, 300 hours or 30,000 hours, you are flying the plane as pilot flying. Hi Rory, hope you're doing well. There is a very good recent Dan Grider YouTube video on this. I'll have to have a look at that, Rory. But very interesting discussion. But me personally, I don't think you need 1500 hours to be able to jump onto the right-hand seat of a jet. No, the MD-11 by Sky Simulation is a scam. That's what I've heard. Well, we'll stay clear of that. You know, I only like to fly quality add-ons. Yankee Fox, 8 months as a member. Thanks, buddy. Time to push that button again. Still loving being a member. Hoping to join in the next members-only group flight. Thank you very much, Yankee Fox, for your continued support. 8 months and all members. Yes, we'll do one more members group flight before the end of the year. The 3rd year anniversary, the 36th members-only group flights. I think I penciled in, unfortunately, a Thursday, guys, because I'm very busy for the whole of this month. And it was the only day I could do, like, my weekends flying or I'm busy. Just couldn't do it. Emma says, hey, evening all, hello to you, hope you're doing well. Carl, do you learn many languages from all the ground crews? Not myself, I'm rubbish at languages. I do try and make an effort, order the fuel in Spanish, and, make sure it's the right number. I say the number in Spanish whilst also showing it on my hand, which I've written in pen, just to make sure I said the numbers right. Good point there, list of him. Javelin, hope you're doing well. Thanks for popping in. Brandon Mentor Pilot gave the thoughts on this in the video a few weeks ago and made some great points. I should think he's pro less than 1500 hours. Harry, do you know if NATS is hard to get into for ATC? I don't, I'm afraid. Graham, a good friend of mine, is an EasyJet captain. I asked him how often he faces serious issues, and he says that's very often. He says that very often. They land with critically low fuel. Is this common? No. Well, not for me, Graham. He often lands with critically low fuel. I've never landed with critically low fuel in 12 years. Never allow it to happen. We always take the fuel that we need to take, minimum block fuel, and any reason I need to take extra, weather being the most common reason, but delays, no TAMs, things like that. I've never had anyone phone me up and go, why did you take X fuel? It is a myth. It is a common misconception, and I have, certainly as a captain, you know, if you have horrific weather, I get an email from my company saying, please take extra fuel, you know, up to max landing weight. Don't worry, guys, you know, to reassure us. So I don't believe that 1 second. It'll be the same at every operator. You know, if I take every day, let's take this sector example, look outside. Now, if I loaded up 2 tons of fuel extra every day, I might get an email saying, no, don't need to do that. It's absolutely fine. And the flight plans are very accurate. So I take minimum block fuel when it's justified. And that's it. If you're going for your FinRes means you must declare emergency, right? Yes, Emma, if you're going to land with less than final reserve, so 30 minutes holding at 1500 feet, you must declare a mayday. Corey, would you ever fly the CRJ again? Or is your overwhelming love for Airbus mean we'll never get to see you use manual thrust? That's hard work, isn't it, that CRJ? No auto throttle. It's probably been updated several times by Aerosoft. That was the first jet and Microsoft flight sim, wasn't it? Yeah, we could look at it again at some point. Thanks, Mason. Just seen your membership comment ping come up. I don't know why it's not pinged up with Streamlabs yet, but thanks for the 12 months. Only just joined now, has been setting up my new gaming PC. There you go. An RTX 3080. I think that's what I've got. i7-13700. I think that's better than mine. 32GB RAM. Really looking forward to start using it. It's very exciting. That should see you through for many years to come, Mason. I'm very exciting indeed. Well, best of luck and let us know how you get on in Discord. Harry, have you seen the new E-Jets being worked on in Microsoft Flight Simulator? Yes, I did see that in the Flight Sim news feed I follow. We are overdue a Dash 8 stream, jamming. We are, and it is working in X-Plane 12, I believe. Dimitri, do you have or use your operator? No, we don't have integrated approach navigation. I think that's where you can arm approach on RNAV approaches, but no, we don't have that. We're flying an RNAV approach today. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to have a 2 or 3 minute break, guys. When we get to 100 miles, we'll start setting up for the approach. You can decide if we fly a VOR approach or an RNAV approach. And I'll give you a full briefing on what we need to do. So there'll be a poll coming up for you to vote. And as soon as I get back from my toilet break, we'll fly the requested approach. There we are. Create a poll. Close. There we are. It's coming in now. Guys, I'm going to have a quick toilet break. And then once we're back, once we get to 100 miles, you haven't got long to vote, guys. About 2 minutes. Whatever is voted as the top option we'll plan for. There's no ILS on runway 10 straight in, so it's going to be a VOR and RNAV approach. Whatever you select, I'll set up for. And I'll see you in about 2 or 3 minutes, guys. Cheers. Thanks a lot for that intermission, guys. And a little nibble of chocolate as well. You have voted, 108 of you, for a VOR approach. 80 miles to go, so let's start setting up for that. VOR approach. I think my Fly Live overlay has frozen again. So if Jamlin, if you're still here, I might take you up on that advice you gave me and try the one from Volanta or whatever it was called. Because this thing breaks all the time in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'll disable it now. There we go. Perfect. Right, let's have a look at these charts. We'll turn that music off. So, Jim's taking control. I'll start setting up. Let's bring up the operational flight plan. Get the descent winds. Now, look at this. We've got a tailwind in our descent here. So what will happen is the top of descent will come a lot sooner. I'm actually, out of curiosity, would like to see if the top of descent changes. So you can see on the ND, it's just after Doras. Now, after we put these winds in, the top of descent should come closer to Doras. Let's see if it makes any difference here. Now, I've seen it in the past before with the PMDG. It doesn't actually change. And I think it does something magic in the background to ensure it works like it does in the real aircraft, but perhaps by changing some weird setting. So let's have a look at there. There's the top of descent winds coming in here. So 279. I'll zoom in a little bit just so I can reach the keypad. 279 at 58. Now that should bring the top of descent a lot closer to us. Let's see if it does it. No, see, it doesn't seem to move it. So I think PMDG do something in the background that we can't see. I mean, I could be completely wrong here, but in the real aircraft, and I've seen it in the mod 2, when you put the winds in, you'll see the top of descent change, and quite a bit, you know. But I don't think that's changed at all. I mean, you guys can play the stream back. Maybe it has, and I haven't noticed it, but it seems to be in the exact same place. And I think there's some jiggery pokery going on in the background to make sure it works. That should have brought the top of descent back at least 10 miles. You know, well, certainly an amount closer to Doris, but I haven't seen any move there. Anyway, we have got the descent winds in. Let's pop in the QNH, which is in Lamezia. Lovely evening, by the way. Scattered cloud. Oh no, no clouds now. No clouds. 10k. 6 knot headwind. 13 degrees. QNH is 1019. So /1019. That is in. Do you also insert ISO deviation at QNH? QNH, yes. ISO deviation. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends if it's a significant deviation. So it's 13 degrees. I'll put -2. Whatever it is up here, it's -1. So let's put. It barely makes any difference. So I'll put -2 as an average. Execute. Fix rings. So the VOR approach we're going to fly will be runway 10, 10. VMC today, so we'll plan to go down flat 15 at 4 miles, 3 times height, cruising at 33,000 feet, so that will be 99, just got to put that in as well, so /99, so that gives us a rough idea where top of descent should be, and you can see it's a little bit earlier. Well, that would actually make sense with the winds that we've put in, but they haven't actually moved with regards to the Doras position. So that's the FMC loaded. VNAV speed, do you also... Oh yeah, I've just seen that question. Thanks for subscribing. Fozzie, welcome on board. Let's now have a look at the chart. So let's bring up Navigraph for that. Dude, this is such an awesome thing. So you can see there we are over the Mediterranean, over planet Earth. North of Sicily, and top descent's just after Doras. So the arrival is going to be the Bagix 2 Romeo. So starting at Bagix. Just make sure we're on step here. There we go. So Doris, Sudbury, Bagix. So the arrival starts at Bagix. And it's then to Charlie Alpha 507. Just move Navigraph over here so you can see. Charlie Alpha 507, which is there. And we can't go below 4,000 feet until we get to Upeti. So 4,000 feet or above at Upeti. And from Upeti, that's the arrival, guys. That's it. It's RNAV. In case of radar service unavailable to your degradation, monitor and alert. Make sure you've got RNAV 1 specifications. That's it. That's my sort of arrival. We're now doing the VOR approach, so let me just deselect the RNAV. And how do I select the charts here? So, Lamezia approach VOR 10, so we'll unpin the RMP. Here it is. So we've just gone from Upeti, and we've got direct to... Oh, we need to reselect the approach, don't we? So arrivals, and we're going to go for VDM. I think that's VOR in PMDG speak. Sugep, baggage to Romeo, so I'll execute. So Upeti, and hopefully direct to Sugep. We don't want to hold, so we'll take the hold out. No, it didn't like that. So the waypoint after Sugep is 80 DME. So Sugep, take out the hold, then bring Sugep to the top like that. Execute. That's going to make everyone happy. Cool. So the VOR, you've got to be careful on VOR approaches because the DME counting down the VR won't be representative of your distance till touchdown. Look at the VOR. It's to the east of the airfield, so you've got to be a bit careful of that. Fozzie, would you always choose an RNAV over a VOR in real life, or is it dependent on different things? Dependent on different things, but usually nowadays an RNAV approach because it'll offer you lower minimums. In all cases, we're still utilising the FMC and using LNAV and VNAV on a coded approach there, but generally an RNAV over a VOR these days. Good question. Onto the VOR then. Let's start at the top of the briefing strip. So the frequency is 112.5 for Lima Mike Tango. Now, here's a great tidbit of information. You don't need a VOR for the aircraft to fly the approach, but because we're flying a VOR approach, you legally have to have it tuned and identified. So if the VOR was out of service, you couldn't fly the approach. However, if you were to load the VOR approach in the FMC and use LNAV and VNAV, it would fly it very accurately, but you can't actually do it unless the VOR is serviceable. We've tuned it anyway, 12.5 Lima Mike Tango. The courses are 093, so let's put the courses up here. Now you can use Vorlock to fly a VOR approach, but it's not as accurate as the FMS, so use LNAV and the pre-programmed approach. So 093, 093. The final approach fix is Sugep. So Sugep is at 2,700 feet, and there's a 3-degree descent path. So let's have a look at the FMS. We've got Sugep. Now this is where PMDG's gone a little bit funny. We've got this 8-mile point, which it has it programmed to being at 2,060, which checks. We've got the 6-mile point at 1,430, which checks, and then down to the MDA, which is put at 790, or the missed approach point is at 790. Now this is coded as a 3-degree descent path. For some reason, PMDG has put the MD, the missed approach point, and 6 degrees at 2.8. So this is an issue. Like you want that matching 3 degrees. So I don't know why the PMDG FMS has given us a slightly different one there. Welcome back as a member of VNAV Speed. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for your support again. Get you back in Discord and continue to ask any questions if you have. And I hope you're doing very well, sir. Thank you. List them in. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, I mean that's how we've always flown them. We fly VR and DB approach. You use the coded database in the FMS, but sometimes for some reason it might not be coded, or there could be an error with the FMS, so you would have to revert to flying it conventionally. Now, if you can't get it in the approach, here's a question for you in chat, guys. Let's say we had no FMC today, which is quite possible, and we wanted to fly a VOR approach. We can't use LNAV and VNAV. Now, we'll discuss what roll mode you could use. You could use Vorlock, but what vertical mode would I use on this approach? MD10, 790, missed approach then. After minimums, so the minimums are 1,000 feet. Now this is an MDA, so we need to add 40 feet to this height. So our minimums is 1,040 today, guys. 1,040. Vertical speed, very good. Vertical speed, and I have a tutorial on vertical speed approaches. If you type in chat, I think it was a live stream actually, but yeah, we flew a vertical speed approach into Lanzarote, runway 21. I think I demonstrated that. So there we are. 1,040 is the minimum. So I forgot to preset the QNH for Lamezia, which was 1019. There's top of descent, so let's get top of descent in chat. Get this aircraft going down. And to have a look at the arrival again, the first restriction was down to 4,000. So I'll just set 80, guys. The aircraft will then initiate descent automatically at the top descent point. So, terrain issues. Look at this: 8,800, 6,700, 6,000 feet. So we don't want to mess around here. Stay on the course here because we've got high terrain. We're going to be way below the MSA on this approach here. This approach will climb straight ahead 5,000 feet off track 093 to the VOR, which is here. And once we get to the VOR,
50,
continue track
40,
99, radial
30,
099 to Gotham and
20,
hold at 5,000
10.
feet. That's the arrival there. Rishal, thank you very much for your donation, sir. Hope you're doing well.
How's it going? Keep up the ever-entertaining streams, good sir.
Thank you very much for your donation, sir. Really appreciate it. And I cannot remember that currency, sir, but thank you very much, Rishal. I hope you... Well, you are. You said you're enjoying it, so thank you very much indeed. You've thrown me off course there. Thank you, very generous. Right, what was I saying? Missed approach Govam, 5,000 to hold, max 220 knots. And very important, if you go around here, keep to your tracks. Do not go off course here, because look, we're going to a bit of a valley here. 1,000 feet either side. I think it's a bit of a scenic approach here, so I'm quite glad it's daytime. RVR 2,400 metres needed. And there we are. So that's all checked. Pappy's high-intensity approach lights set. All the fancy precision approach aids are on 2.8. It's an ILS approach on runway 2.8. So we brief the approach and the arrival. Let's have a look at the landing. Runway 10 here. We'll aim to make Charlie just over halfway. I'd say that's around 1,800 metres. I think today flap 40, auto brake 3 should do quite nicely for Charlie. Flap 30 might be a little tight for our landing weight. We don't have any accurate performance data. I haven't loaded up the OPT, but we never guess. We'd always load up the OPT, so I'm going to go with that. 10, no threshold on 10. We'll go for Charlie. Flap 40, auto brake 3. RVR requirements to take off quite low. Look, 550 metres needed. I think there's a lighting issue there. Let's see how much fuel we're arriving with first, though. Naples to divert, we need 3.3, we got 3.9, so we've saved 15 minutes worth of fuel, and 300 kilos to burn, 60.8 our landing weight. 60.8, flap 40, order brake 3, we'll go for second detent reverse. Vacate Charlie on stand, and this will be the lovely ORBX scenery to have a look at. I am Phil. The issue with vertical speed, it does not manage the speed right. Well, it will manage the speed when you select vertical speed. I will demonstrate to you now, I am Phil, and everyone watching. Vertical speed is a pitch mode. Okay, so the pitch mode is now vertical speed, and the auto throttle is an MCP speed. So the auto throttle will adjust thrust to maintain 273 knots. Now, if I reduce our vertical speed to 1,000 feet per minute, the aircraft will do that. And watch what the auto throttle does, because it's an MCP speed. Speed's going to slowly come back because it's idle thrust, but the auto throttle's in MCP speed, so it's going to go right. You want me to maintain the MCP speed of 273 knots. I'm an auto throttle. I'm going to start adding thrust. So vertical speed will give you the ability to control your thrust so long as you give it something sensible. However, because the 737 is a bit like a donkey and a carrot, if you set a vertical speed of 7,900 feet, I think that is the maximum, it'll do it. It won't do it as aggressively as that, though. And look, the auto throttle is an MCP speed. I've closed it for you, sir, but I've told you to do 7,900 feet per minute. It's going to do this. Now, anyone know, quickly, before it gets to the clacker, what it's going to do? What mode? It has a safety feature here. What mode will it revert to when it reaches the thing here? That's a PMDG. That shouldn't be that quick there. It should be a lot slower pitching down there. Oh, it works. Bravo, clacker. It has reverted automatically to level change. This is a safety feature. It's called reversion. So it's reverted to level change. It's gone, nuh-uh, you're in vertical speed. You've told me to do something utterly stupid. But I've done it because I am stupid. But because we're now exceeding MMO, or VMO in this case, we've reverted to level change. The aircraft's going to pitch up. Look at the auto throttle, it's still in arm mode. And now the pitch system is in MCP speed, so it's pitching for a speed. So, there you go. Now, funny enough, it shouldn't be climbing though. Funny enough, exceeding VMO like we did just there, the aircraft's not going to start falling apart. You can... No, don't do it purposefully, but the aircraft can, exceed that speed and have absolutely no problem whatsoever. It's a tech log entry. You call the engineers, you say exceed the MMO, you tell them, or VMO or MMO, you tell them the speed at which you got to, and then they'll inspect the aircraft. So there you go. So vertical speed is donkey in the carrot mode. Great mode if you need to do a CDA or you want to fly a required vertical speed, but just be prepared that the auto throttle might not be able to maintain the speed that it's trying to do. And subsequently, the opposite happens too. If you select vertical speed, 6,000 feet climb, the auto throttle will set the highest thrust setting it can, but the speed will still drop off. Good news, it'll also revert to level change too. Rishal, why not deploy speed brake immediately? Well, that was just a demonstration, but yes, that is what we would do if we had exceeded MMO VMO, especially in the cruise. Don't reduce the thrust to idle in the cruise because it can take up to 25 seconds for the thrust to recover from idle to your cruise thrust setting. Andrew just got back from swing to watch the landing in Football World Cup. Who's playing today? Oh, is England playing today? I hope not. I do follow it, but not. You know, I watch England, and obviously getting into the quarterfinals, I'll be a little bit more sort of. Interest is the right word. I'll get behind my team, let's say. Dimitri, in real life, do you have to call anyone if you exceed max speed after the flight? Well, yeah, the aircraft's going to be AOG. They're grounded, and the first call would be to the engineers to tell them what happened. And yeah, and MMO or VMO exceedance would require a report. It's one of the reportable requirements. I have had a VMO exceedance in the cruise. We just had a huge mountain wave, and the aircraft descended, and the speed just went woof like this straight into the clacker. Literally nothing we could do. Oh, is England playing now? Oops, 7 o'clock. Not the best time to stream. I did not take that into account. I mean, I'm renting a house at the moment. I don't even have a TV aerial, so if it's on BBC, I can watch it on iPlayer. We're playing Senegal, and this is actually a knockout stage, isn't it? Okay. No wonder all my British viewers are not are here. But this, it's on TV. I couldn't even watch it then, guys, unless I went to a pub. I can't remember what I was going to say. Yeah, this stream was initially penciled in for Friday evening, but I was called off work, so unfortunately I couldn't do it. Last time I played, I was working. Roads were lovely and quiet. It was brilliant. Yeah, they'd probably be dead now. Cheers, Javelin. Would it be possible to switch on the FPV to check that you follow 3-degree glide slope? Yes, I think we will do initially, but we did see that 2.8 degree slope afterwards. Ooh, what's this 11 and 12?
40.
We don't have that
30,
on ours. That's funky.
20. 10.
Cheers, VNAV speed. He says level change is actually the AFDS version of me. Sort of is. You're just like level change, but with additional safety features. Oh goddamn! This is a PMDG-ism. It defaults to 180 in America, but in the real life, it'll take whatever's in the database, the correct transition altitude, by ATC. But usually it'll be something like, if you look on the SID or something. Yeah, 6,000. I'll just put 70 in. There we are. I'll just get rid of the annoying modes. Right, anyway, yeah, we talked about the VR approach, but I haven't actually explained to you how we're going to fly this. So my operator, we completed an additional briefing. We call it a double briefing. It's just sort of the pilot flying's way of explaining how he's going to fly an approach. An ILS arm approach, boom, done. A non-precision approach, like a VR approach, there's a little bit more to it. You've got to make sure you set the correct modes on at the right time, make sure the aircraft's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So the first thing we always do when we fly a non-precision approach, we complete this briefing, and we firstly check the QNH. Because we're using VNAV, which is a Barrow aided pitch mode, it's very important that you select the correct QNH. If you select the wrong QNH, you won't be at the correct height at the right time. If the temperature's below 0, you need to make cold temperature requirements, which you won't be in Lamezia today. We then talk about the configuration sequence. So we'll configure flap 1 before 10 miles, flap 5 thereafter, and we'll plan to configure gear down flap 15 at around 4 miles or so. After configuration sequence, the modes, so we're going to use LNAV and VNAV today. We'll open the speed window. actions when we're visual. So for visual, we'll disconnect the automation. There's no runway point coded in the FMC, so we'll actually disconnect the flight directors because... Oh no, there is! Excuse me. We can leave the flight directors on, although it's a shallower glide path than what's actually required there. And if we're not visual, we'll fly the missed approach, and we have a landing gate VMC of 500 feet today. Now, very important in the 737 that when you get to 2 miles before the final approach fix or your nominated descent point, you set the MCP altitude to your minimums, rounded up, so 1100 feet will set. We then ensure VNAV's engaged with the speed windows open, but you then must remember to set the missed approach altitude. Now usually if we were to set a higher altitude now, the aircraft would level off, but there's an approach logic in the AFDS system, or something in the background that ensures that when you set a higher altitude it doesn't level off, it continues descending. So we do that at the top of the white bar typically, but the minimums here are quite high. So you want to set the missed approach altitude once you're about 300 feet below the missed approach altitude, or at least, well, 300 feet above the minimums, no later. So at around 1500 feet we'll set the missed approach altitude, which is 5000 feet. So that's the only thing I really missed from the briefing there. Now, I swear, it works. PMDG, how it looks here, it looks like it's all working correctly, but I think there's some magic going on in the background here, because we're only doing 1500 feet per minute, but it's holding the speed exactly at 278 knots. I can tell you now the speed will be coming back at 1500 feet per minute. There's no way at idle thrust the aircraft will be holding the speed at 1500 feet. That speed should be coming back at 270 knots. So I think there's something going on in the background. I've always thought this, that sort of ensures it looks like it's working correctly. Don't know. But yeah, 40, it's too shallow at descent 30, for 270 knots idle thrust.
10.
Thank you very much, Andrew B, for your donation.
Here is to the PMDG 737 to 900 and 777 fund. Look forward to see you showcase these beautiful aircraft in MSFS.
Well, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much, Andrew B, for the $7. We'll be flying all of those aircraft there. 900, I'll see. I've gotten all of them. Pokemon, collect them all. Maybe I'll look into the 900. I'll end up tail striking it there, but we'll see. Thank you very much for your continued support, though, sir. Appreciate it. Dimitri, can one use Ian as reference only during non-precision approaches, or is this a no-no? Oh, Dimitri, I really don't know. Again, would it work on a VOR approach? I don't know. I think only on RNAV approaches. I could be completely wrong. We don't have the guidance in our FCOM because we don't have it installed. But essentially, I think you arm approach and you get the same indications as you would on an ILS. I'm not 100% clued up on that one. No clue about it. Brett, yes, what do you mean by top of the white bar? It's hard to explain here, but on the PFD, as we approach 1,000 feet AGL, there'll be a white bar on the left-hand side here, which represents 1,000 feet above aerodrome level. So the elevation here is 50 feet, so it will be around 1,000 feet. So then after the white bar, there will be a yellow bar, which represents 500 feet. And usually the white bar is the point at which we set the missed approach altitude at 1,000 feet. But remember, as I pointed out here, the minimums here are very high. So it coincides with the minimums at 1,000 feet, so we've got to be careful with that. Anyway, oops, I'm all behind here. Seatbelt sign should be on. Passing 100 for 80. Let's do the post-cruise check. So fuel, we've got 4 tons. Lights can come on. Angular bank is set to 25 degrees. Pressurization 3.5 set. Verify seatbelts on, recall. There we are, checks complete. I think Rob from PMDG referred to what they're doing as flyby software. Example, the PMDG secret source doing stuff between the sim engine and what you're seeing. Yeah, I think so, Yankee Fox. There's just little things I'm noticing. The thing is, the picture looks correct. We're on profile, we've got idle thrust, we're maintaining the speed, but the rate of descent is what was giving it away as something wrong. We should not be doing 1,500 feet at 270 knots. With idle thrust, sort of more than we should be more than that. Right, want to go. Let's go down to the initial approach fix altitude of 4,000 feet. So 4,000 feet coming up on the MCP. And this is precisely how I'd be flying a VOR approach at my operator. So 4,000 feet set. We'll set QNH. So again, that's another PMDG-ism. I've updated the QNH and it's took me slightly off profile. If you cut the QNH in the FMC, it should not change at all, which we did do. 8,300 for 4,000 feet, and the standby altimeter is set. Again, these are just very small pointers. The actual aircraft is phenomenally good. Mr. Dunno, it's not the fun approach at Lamezia. It's the fun approach to the ILS. Not so sure. It could well be the ILS in real life if it's preferred, but that would be onto a tailwind. But it'll be less than 10 knots, which is the maximum tailwind permitted. Emma, that's again something we don't have at my operator. A FAC mode on the FMA. That again, I think is to do with integrated approach navigation. We do not have that fitted to our fleet. I have no. Our FCOM 2. The FCOM is not a generic Boeing manual. It is tailored as per your operator. If we don't have a feature from the aircraft installed, there is zero guidance on that feature. It is not there. So I am sorry. I don't know about that feature, and B, I wouldn't be able to tell you about it either. But looking good. We're just a little bit fast. So what you can do, if you so wish, you can use speed brake just to get your target speed back. And see, look, just hear that noise you get? Actually, funny enough, when you get the speed brake, you do get a noise from the flight deck, and there's a little bit of vibration again. This is FSRealistic doing its thing. Speed brake effectiveness looks quite good. I really like that. And if you're in the cabin, you hear that sound from the speed brake, which is missing from the PMDG. Andrew, have you tried the Kai-Tak Airport and Microsoft Flight Sim since its reintroduction into the Flight Sim world? I haven't, but I have tried the free Kai-Tak update. Or scenery. We flew in there not so long ago. Lamezia, the province of Basquiata, I can't pronounce that, Dimitri. It's quite nice this time of year. It does not get the credit that other more famous provinces get. No. I actually watched Gladiator recently as well. Never seen it. Brilliant film. So we'll try to refer to the charts where possible. What was this VOR frequency? You know what I was telling you about how you need a VOR identified to fly a VOR approach? Oh, it's literally just came in now. 25 miles. Is that the DME range? Surely it'd go out farther than that. Bit sus there with the DME. But we have Lamezia tuned and now identified. 25 miles to run. And we'll try and do some altitude distance cross checks on the way in. So at 9 miles we need to be at this height, 8 miles at this height, 7 miles this height, etc. So 4,000 feet checked. Wait a minute. We're going seriously low. PMDG has done a bit of a boo-boo here. We should be at 6,000 feet. Why is VNAV put me perfectly on profile with no restrictions? We should be at 6,000 feet here. It wants me to Upeti at 4,000 feet, then 8 miles later, 2,700 at Shugep. Unless... No... It just seems a bit low. 20, 40, 60, yeah. Let's go down to Shugep's 2,000 feet restriction. Ah. Shugep 2,500. Shouldn't we be there at 4,000? This is wrong. Something's really wrong here. We've got to be at 4,000. Yeah, I know it's slowing down there, but we're so far out. Look at this. 4,000 feet at Shugep and then down a path. So why on earth it wants me to be at 2,500 feet at Shugep? It's way too low. Yeah, there's something wrong with that. So I'm just going to change that to 4,000 feet or above. Ugh. Well, they shouldn't have done that. That's the correct profile there, but it shouldn't put me at 2,600 feet there. Oh, yeah, sorry, it's 2,700 sugar. I'm looking in the wrong part, you're right. I was going to say 2,710. I don't know why it's put me so low there, though. So it put me at 4,000 feet there, but now it's a very, very shallow descent. Yeah, sorry, you're quite right. And that's a massive gotcha. I was looking at the wrong height there, 3,000 feet for the actual final approach fix. But here it's given me quite a shallow descent. I could be talking nonsense here. Flat one. Do you need to know Morse code? No, thankfully not. Flat 1, flat 5. I might have to take back what I said because I think the 4,000 feet height might have been just a... No, it looks alright now. But I was looking at the distance to go and it said 20 and we should have been at 6,000. 10 miles, 3,000 feet looks right now. Flat 5. Anyway, we are approaching descent, so 1,100 feet. VNAV, speed intervent. Lovely chart, thanks. Sorry, I can't see it. Actually, I didn't see it. Is this approach... Well, remember the VOI is slightly offset here from the runway, so it's not going to be exactly off, so it's a couple of degrees offset. There's the final approach fix, 2,000 feet, no flag, 2,700 feet, no flags, altitude checks, no flags, and we are 2 degrees offset from the centre line. We're going to go flat 10. Yeah, I think... I take back what I said there, but I did see us at 20 miles at 4,000 feet, and I was thinking, no, that's low, so I think the next bit was quite shallow. Anyway, we'll do some distance cross-checks. We just missed 9 miles, so 8 miles. Let me look at the chart again quickly. 8 miles, we need to be at 2,060 feet. So 8 miles, 2,060, perfectly on profile. 7 miles, 1,740 feet. We'll get ready to set the missed approach altitude, approaching the minimums. So missed approach altitude, 5,000 feet, stayed in path, which is good. Set. I'm going to start doing a landing flow because I want to hand fly this. And lights are on, there we are. So missed approach altitude is set, and 6 miles height check, 1430. There it is, 1430. On profile, well actually about a little bit low, about 50 feet low. Pappies are showing 3 reds. So what we usually, this can actually happen in real life. I'm going to disconnect now. There's auto throttle, autopilot, and we're just past 4 miles. So gear down, flap. Forgot to turn on the yoke cam. Flap 15. Match speed, landing checklist. So start switches I put in continuous. Recall we checked. Speed brake is armed green light. Landing gear is down 3 green. Auto brake is set. Flaps to 30 initially. Remember we're going a flat 40 landing. Why does it sound like there's a lot of thrust on? Woo, watch that rate of descent though. Whoa, it's way too high. So one of the things about desktop simulators, 162 knots there. I'll get rid of the flight directors. I don't like what they're doing. One thing about flight sim is you don't get that sensation of your rate of descent sometimes. So we were descending at around 1,500 feet per minute. That's quite noticeable in the real aircraft, but in the sim, not so. But we're nicely stable now. Flat 40, 63% of this gross weight. So the speed and attitude looks good. And we're clear to land. Check is complete. So yeah, the descent planning there about 4 or 5 minutes ago. I thought it was something a bit wonky going on, but looks okay now. Oh, I forgot to turn on fly live, so you won't get a landing rate. You just have to presume it's minus 50. We are visual at minimums, obviously. Ooh, watch that rate of descent, a bit too high. No more than 1,000. And this is the Lamezia scenery by ORBX. Thrust is good. Attitude's looking good.
100.
Ooh. This little runway might be where it used to be.
50, 40, 30, 20,
Check,
10.
close, hold the attitude. Just down the slope here. There we are. Speed brakes up. Reverses. Love those sound effects. If you do a hard landing, because I know I've tried it before, it does really rock around. 100 knots. Manual braking. 80. Oh, those brakes are really strong. 60. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lamezia. Oh, I forgot to start the flight recorder. No. Oh no, I keep forgetting to do that. Oh no, replay guys. Oh. We're down anyway. Right, speed brake stowed. Yeah, I will take back. I think PMDG VNAV was actually okay. I think I got a bit muddled with the heights because at Shugep it was 4,000 for the hold and then 2,700 for the FAF. But then I was like wondering why the VNAV profile was putting me at 4,000 feet with 20 miles to run. That is low. So anyway, yeah, should replay be our keyword then? Yeah, you need to, guys. If I'm in Microsoft Flight Simulator, approaching 10 miles, start spamming chat and put replay. I give you permission. What do you guys think of FSRealistic though? I really like it. Like, there's additional sounds and vibrations and shakes, and we had the fun gym avatar mode at the start. I really like it. I'll be using it in the future. There we go. Retracting the flaps. Turn on a little bit of taxiing music. There we go. I am sorry for not being on the VATSIM network again. Audio issues my side. I'll get that all sorted for our next stream. Because, yeah, I love it being online. And we had full ATC in Palma as well. Right, let's start on our way down here. Transponder to out of 2000. Trim resetting. There we go. Flaps are up. I've never been to Lamezia before, so I couldn't tell you if it's accurate, but ORBX do make very nice sceneries. They're all remote stands here with no air bridges, so we'll take stand number... should go for stand number 1. Because we are the number 1 flight sim streamer. I'm joking, of course. Cringe. Let's put that to steady. Start switches off. Probes off. Check the recall. Master caution recall. Anti-ice. There we go. Perfect. Then we'll pull on standard. Great flight as always, Captain. Thank you very much, Andrew. Nice work on the approach and landing. Yes, it went quite well. Very happy. Just hope X-Plane 12 gets to the bottom of some of their little niggles they've got. With the lighting especially. Have they got a stand 1? Let me just double check.
Minimums. Approaching minimums.
They might not have one, not always. Hey! Naples! Wrong airport. Recent Lamezia, there we go. Taxi parking stands. They don't have a stand 1. It's a good job we stopped. Let's take the one. They do have a stand 1, but oops, it's only for a very small aircraft. We'll take stand number 4, look. Good job I checked. I would have been looking for number 1 for a GA. So, here's a top tip for you. Matthew, 14 months, thank you. Another great landing for the books. Thank you very much, sir. Stand number 4 is a self-positioning stand, and when you have to manoeuvre the plane, you really want some marshalling here. I fly into an airport undisclosed destination where we have very tight taxiing, and we have to have someone dead ahead of you and on the wing to make sure you're clear here. You'll be surprised what the turning circle is for the PMDGs, the real 737. It is well modelled in the 7.3, but you actually taxi quite far forward until you turn, and it actually can be quite off-putting when you first do it. I remember when I first flew the aircraft, and I was thinking, oh, surely you've got to start turning now, but no, you've got to keep going. Better get the AP up and running as well. So, oops, you'd think you'd just have to start turning. Now you'd start turning, and you think, oh, my wing's going to hit that, but you'd be surprised because you want to keep the nose wheel here. And if you actually look out there, look, it's still quite far away, and you want to keep your nose wheel on that line. I've actually turned a little bit too late. It's honestly, it's easier in the real plane, and when I say easier, it's just that mostly because I'm used to it. And they say you can actually get an A330 on this, so I was a little bit late with that turn, but you can actually turn quite late. As that's for an A330, we'll go a little bit further forward. Why is there only love for Airbuses on this stand? No, you get an other air. I think I'm on a wide body, but no wide body Boeing jets there. Something like that. There we are. Parking brake sets. AP's available. There we are. Lights can come off. We've got 2 blues, 1 red, and engines are dead. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lamezia, Italy, for the first ever time on a live stream. Right on the foot of Italy. Engines are shutting down. There we are geographically. Lovely flight that was, right over the Mediterranean from Palma. Great scenery from ORBX. 320 out of 10 would Airbus again. No! Shall we gymify and have a little look at the scenery quickly? I mean, actually, you know what? Just to save a bit of time, because I do need to shoot off. I will go to drone cam here, but we did use the avatar feature, and then I'll run the giveaway. But here we are in Lamezia. I've just got to turn the anti-coal light off. And hear all the background sounds. That's from FSRealistic. I've never flown here, but you've got an ILS on one side, the VR and RNAV approach on the other. Oh, look, there's those... Is it Canadaires? I can't remember. The little sea bombers here. Little static aircraft as well. Protection. I can't remember what they're called. Now that would be a cool stream to do. Yeah, it's only a small little airport. But nice long runway. You could easily get a 7.4 into here, no problem. ORBX, I'm an ORBX partner, so very fortunate if I have. But for ORBX themselves, download a scene, I can grab it myself. Lots of Italian advertising there. Here's the terminal. That was a very interesting terminal. What are these little holes are there, like air conditioning vents? I don't know if there's any interior here. No, there isn't. You just sort of go down here onto the apron. Very nice. But go check out the ORBX website for the information for the Lamezia scenery. If you're from Lamezia or fancy flying into a detailed rendition of the airport, you can go grab that now. Anyway, there we are. Back towards our aeroplane. I'll just turn Microsoft Flight Simulator audio down slightly and I'll run this giveaway. So I have to say thank you very much to FSRealistic Pro for sending me their FSRealistic software. It is available on a 7-day free trial, and you've seen some of the features, the avatar feature, which is still experimental, but all the little bumps and vibrations and sounds it adds to the sim. I've only shown you a little part of it in the 7.3 today, but you've got additional sound effects for light aircraft. You can alter settings, but what's really cool, as I mentioned to you earlier, if I bring it back up here, let me just show you here. We don't even have half the settings on here. I'm just using one of the profiles too, but I think that's because PMDG obviously keep a lot of things there. So things like people breaking brake sounds. You know, if you're on a light aircraft, you might want to fiddle with that because it's a little bit better. Toilet flush, everyone's favourite. The first person mode we used. And if you don't know what to do, you can just download profiles from other users. So you go to the profile cloud, boom, download someone else's profiles. We've seen some others earlier. It's great. I like it. I'm going to use it in the streams moving forward too. Looks like a very old and very nice airport. Love it. Super retro terminal it is. And PMDG do a really good job of recreating the airports, I've found. Anyway, if you would like to win a copy of FSRealistic, you can enter a giveaway. And if you're new to giveaways on this channel, it's very simple. I'm going to ask you a question. You just enter that answer in chat. You can use lowercase or uppercase. It doesn't matter. And all you need to do is get in contact with me via social media. I'm on Twitter or Instagram. I do have Facebook, but I don't accept messages through Facebook. You can message me via Instagram or Twitter. Or you can email me at flydatasim@gmail.com. My email address is in the About section of YouTube if you have any inquiries, and I'll send you a key over. All you need to do is go over to the FSRealistic website, download it. Anyone could download it, and then you could just simply insert the key and use it that way. Members, don't forget, look in the announcement section as well. I'll be doing that straight after the stream. But all you've got to do is answer this question. Well, it's not really a question. Type in chat, all one word, FSRealistic. FSRealistic. You can use lowercase, uppercase, it doesn't matter. Please only enter it in chat once. If you enter it more than once, you will not be entered into the giveaway. Anti-spam is enabled. XB's got it right. No, Domino Sid, I've had his wrong. FSRealistic. FSRealistic. That's it, guys. You've got it. We'll let that run for a couple of minutes, and then we'll run the giveaway. Members, I'll be straight into voice channel chat to do the additional one after the stream. Everyone can enter. Regular subscribers, members, moderators, all been entered. I don't have any of the what is it called, eligibility things on. Everyone is entered. Flight Service Specialist wants his giveaway back. What did Bill Jonas Fullerton say? I missed his comment. There's usually a few little funny comments that come in here. I'm always on the lookout for your behaviour. And you get all this lovely audio in the background, like the airport ambience. Perfect. I can still see them coming in. Pirouette? What are you on about, Andy? Superb. I'll let it run for another minute or so. Robert Murphy, yeah, all one word, all one word. Try it, all one word. If you've already done it all one word, though, just don't worry, you'll have been entered into the giveaway already. Perfect. I thought that was Nightbot entering. All one word. No, don't put that. No, mods and members, behave yourself. For those of you who don't know, I did a giveaway on a very busy stream when Microsoft Flight Simulator was released, and some of the members and mods and subscribers were putting regular words in, and then everyone thought it was the giveaway, and then all of the wrong words are going in chat, and I was like, no, children. Right, let's run the giveaway. So, the winner of the FSRealistic giveaway, winning a copy of the FSRealistic add-on, is Mike Lima ML, I think. Just a regular channel viewer. No member. The membership status is known. It just says ML. ML, if you're in chat, make yourself known. You are the winner for the giveaway today. Let me do my... Oh, I meant to stop the music in the background. There we are. ML says, yay! ML, just drop a message for me on Facebook. Sorry, on Instagram or Twitter. I'm not on Facebook, or I am, but I don't have the messaging enabled. Or you can email me at flightdecksim@gmail.com. As I mentioned, my email address is in the About section. I'll get that key sent out to you. You can be using it as soon as possible. I'll try and get back to you before I go off to bed later this evening. I'll get that sent out to you. Congratulations, you are the winner. Well then guys, that's it today. I don't have any replays because I forgot to turn on the replay tool, which is a shame, so I can't do the funky replay music. But thank you very much for tuning in. For everyone that purchased the merchandise at the start of the stream, thank you very much. If you didn't know, I have relaunched the store. There's 15% off pretty much all the products. Some of them aren't available to discount because I've lowered the base price as much as I possibly can. And that sale is running until... well, the rest of 2022, so feel free to take that look, and I will do some more merch giveaways in the future. Thank you very much for everyone that supports the channel by buying the merch. To everyone that donated, thank you for your support, and to the members, thank you very much for your continued support as well. For those of you who are from England and who should be, including myself, watching the football, which I completely forgot about. Thank you for coming in, taking the time to watch a stream. I appreciate that. And yeah, I'll be going live again before Wednesday. I'm on my days off at the moment. Yeah, let me know what you'd like to see. I've got a gazillion things I'd like to do. Really, I do. But I'll get my VATSIM audio fixed so when we next fly, we are on the network. Guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you as ever for all of your continued support, and I'll see you on another live stream very soon. Have a great day, guys.